Wheaties presents Joel McRae in Tales of the Texas Rangers. On stage tonight, transcribed from Hollywood, another in the Wheaties big parade of exciting half-hour presentations. Tales of the Texas Rangers, starring Joel McRae as Ranger Pearson. Texas, more than 260,000 square miles, and 50 men who make up the most famous and oldest law enforcement body in North America. Now, from the files of the Texas Rangers come these stories based on fact. Only names, dates, and places are fictitious for obvious reasons. The events themselves are a matter of record. Case for tonight, the Trigger Men.
At 9 o'clock on the evening of May 27, 1947, Jasper Leach, operator of an independent service station in Ada, Oklahoma, was preparing to shut down for the night. Suddenly, two men in a green convertible pulled into the service island of his station.
Close for the night, fellas. Pumps are all locked.
We gotta get some gas.
All-night place on the highway south, mister. Big station. You're heading that way.
I don't like big stations. We're gassing up right here. I got a tire you can fix.
Now, look, I told you I'm close for the night.
Hey, stop the chatter, will you?
You heard him, Hick. Now get moving, or I'll put a slug in you.
All right, mister. I ain't arguing with a gun.
Hey, get that pump going. Make them fill a couple extra 5-gallon cans.
All right, Joe. Stop playing Napoleon and get that flat spare out if you're so hot for action.
Okay, but let's take it up, man.
Well, come on, Hayseed. Get with the pump.
Keys are in the office.
Well, let's get them. And while we're in here, you might as well open the safe.
I don't know the combination.
Yeah? Oh! I said open it, you hick.
All right, mister, I'll open it. But you ain't getting away with this. Not by a dang sight.
We'll talk that over later. Just you and me, Hick. Just you and me.
KDX-8, all units. KDX-8, all units. Oklahoma State Police advised that about 9 p.m. of 5/27, gas station attendant at Ada, Oklahoma was robbed and beaten to death with tire iron. Subjects tentatively identified as number 1, Joe Gordon, average size, eyes blue, hair blonde, complexion fair. Number 2, Tiny Gordon, 6'3", peculiar walk, pigeon-toed, same coloring as brother. Subjects now believed to be in Texas en route to Mexican border. Wanted 6 states and FBI for murder, bank robbery, narcotics, other charges. Use caution, these men are dangerous. KDXA Austin.
Tales of the Texas Rangers will continue in just a moment.
Get up and get at 'em with Wheaties. Yup, for folks up and doing, for folks going places, breakfast of champions. Sure, begin a better breakfast with Wheaties tomorrow and see if you don't feel the difference all morning long. Here's why. There's a whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties flake. You got it? There's a whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties flake. That's why Wheaties can give so much. Energy? You bet. Whole wheat energy. Vitamins and minerals? You bet. And protein, too. That's why Wheaties at 7 can make a difference at 11. There's energy in them thar flakes. You try 'em tomorrow morning. Make yours Wheaties. Pour on the milk, put on the fruit, and eat happy. Yes, and work happy. Tomorrow, see for yourself how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11. Breakfast of champions. Breakfast for you.
There were no further signs of the Gordon brothers on the night of May 27th. But on the morning of the 28th, Captain Stinson of the Texas Rangers received a report that looked like a lead and immediately sent for Ranger Jace Pearson.
You send for me, Captain?
Yeah, Jace. I want you to get right over to the General Hospital in Palo Pinto County. Been a double shooting. Deputy Sheriff and his son.
Where'd it happen?
Near Mineral Wells, but check the hospital first. Shooting took place during the night. Rancher found the men this morning.
Mineral Wells. That's on the road south from Ada, Oklahoma. You think it might have been the Gordon brothers?
It smells like them. They were headed south, according to all previous reports. I figure they're making their run for the border, and they'll kill anybody who tries to stop them.
Sure looks that way.
The deputy never saw who gunned him, Jace. If he can talk, get all the information you can. And if it looks like the Gordons, stay with it all the way. We don't want them to get across the border.
I understand.
Judging by their past movements, they steal cars and dump them for new ones at regular intervals before they get too hot. So don't pin too much on any car descriptions.
I won't. I'll see you later.
Oh, Jace.
Yeah?
You get anything hot, report it by phone. If I have anything for you, I'll have the radio dispatcher tell you to call in. The men we're after might have a shortwave set.
Right, Captain.
One thing more, Jace. This department hasn't lost a man in a long time. Let's keep it that way.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be the one to spoil the record. I checked my car out and headed for Palo Pinto County. I reached the hospital at 9:45 a.m. and saw the doctor in charge.
He'll pull through, I think, but his condition is critical. Shot 3 times through the back. One of the bullets is lodged in his spine.
Which room's he in?
I'll show you.
Deputy's son hurt bad, too?
Too bad, Ranger. Dead on arrival.
He know it?
Yep, he knows. Be better if you could wait.
I wish I could. I can't.
I understand. He's in here.
The deputy was lying on his stomach, a dazed look on his face like he was remembering something over and over, but still couldn't believe it. I knelt on the floor beside him so he could see me while he was telling me what happened.
You see, my boy built himself one of them hot rod cars out of an old chassis and spare parts. You know youngsters.
Yeah.
I broke down on him last night. Full with it and couldn't get it to start. Called up home about midnight. Tell me and his ma why I was out so late.
Sure.
I drove out in my car to meet him where he called from, up at Salesville. We both fooled around with his car some, but wasn't fixing to go at all.
Here. You sip a little water through this glass straw. Better?
Yeah, thank you.
You couldn't get the car started?
Yeah, so finally I told the kid to come on home. And we'd get it taken care of today. I reckon that don't matter none now.
What happened on the way home?
We passed the carpet place. Big place. He raises silkworms.
Here. Let me fix that pillow for you a bit.
Thank you. Worms feed off from the leaves of the mulberry trees. We was passing the grove, Carver's mulberries. I spot a fire, little campfire like deep in the grove, almost out of sight.
I see.
Thought I'd better stop, have a look. The kid, he wanted to get out of the car with me. I don't know why I let him, but I had no way of knowing.
Oh, of course, you couldn't know.
We walked in. I guess they heard us coming. One of them kicked at the fire. I saw his shadow. That's all. I yelled at him to stand where they was, and they started blasting.
Go on.
I turned, pushed the kid down. Something hit me in the back. I went out. When I came to, my kid was lying there. Just a couple of feet from me. 15 years old.
All right. Don't try to talk anymore.
Get him for me, Ranger. Please get him. Me and my kid.
I left the hospital and headed for the Carveth Ranch outside Mineral Wells. Big Jim Carveth, the owner of the place, took me into the mulberry grove where the deputy and his boy had been gunned.
Well, this is the spot. Sheriff's combed it over pretty complete, though.
Had their fire right over here.
What are you digging out of them ashes?
Fire wasn't burning long. Started it with a road map and an envelope. A little corner of the envelope not quite burned. I can just make out the stamp.
Huh?
It's Mexican. Maybe our lab can make out the postmark.
Out of that charred hunk?
Yeah. If I can slide it into this fresh envelope without breaking it up too much.
You fellas sure can figure a lot from a little, I reckon.
Sometimes. When they left, they went through there toward the road.
How do you know that?
Here's the mark where the fire was kicked. Steps from it move that way.
It might have been the sheriff and his men.
Not in low-heel Eastern boots. See the impressions?
Oh.
One set, same as yours or mine, except for the difference in boots. The other set scuffs in at the toes. Man who made those is pigeon-toed.
Well, you sound like you could draw a picture of them.
I could now. Let's see where these prints lead. They led to the road, or almost to the road. Just at the edge of the grove were tire markings where a car had been backed into the mulberries to screen it from sight.
Yeah, this is it, all right. Can see where it scraped the branches.
Did more than scrape them. End of this one's been torn off. The part that got torn off isn't on the ground. Low branch, too.
Oh, that means something?
From the tire marks and the height of the branch, it means the baggage compartment of the car was open and then closed down on the end of the branch. See, it snapped off when the car moved.
You sound like that's worth knowing.
It might be worth plenty if the highway patrol turns up an abandoned car with a piece of mulberry branch caught on it. I drove back to headquarters and turned the charred envelope over to the lab. Then I went in and reported to Captain Stinson.
Sounds like the Gordon brothers, all right.
I'd bet on it. And if they're in the habit of ditching their cars, we better check on all the stolen and abandoned. We find the car, we'll know which way they're headed.
I'll send out a bulletin on it. What did Lab say about the envelope?
Burned pretty bad, Captain, but they think they can restore it. Take time, though.
Well, if they can bring out that Mexican postmark, it might tell us where the Gordons plan to cross the border.
That's what I was thinking. They won't go through a regular border station. It'll be an illegal crossing. And they'll probably have a hideaway arranged on the other side.
Yeah, probably other members of the Crawford gang.
I figure they'll try to make it before tomorrow morning. They'll be making their big run tonight.
Well, head south, Jace, toward the border. We'll relay all information to you as it comes up.
I'd better get charcoal out of the barn and hitch up my horse trailer.
That's a good idea. Wherever they try to cross, it's a cinch it won't be good territory for a car.
The border stations are covered, though, aren't they, in case they do try illegal crossing?
Now, their mugs are hanging in every customs house from Brownsville to El Paso. FBI has given them extra cover, and the Mexican police are helping, too.
I better get going, then. So long, Captain.
So long, Jace, and good luck.
I loaded charcoal into the horse trailer and headed south, aiming for the center of the border near Valverde County so I could change my direction fast either way. I kept a lead foot on the gas pedal. Toward sundown, I was just outside El Dorado when the radio dispatcher came through telling me to call headquarters. I got Captain Stinson on long distance.
That mulberry branch is paying off, Jace. Abandoned car with a piece of it caught in the trunk has just been found in Fort Stockton, Pecos County.
How long ago?
Less than 15 minutes. And the motor was still warm. Highway Patrol is throwing up roadblocks at all points, south and west. They can't be far out of Stockton.
Must be planning to try a border crossing in Presidio or Brewster County, then. Any report on that burned envelope?
Still working on it, Jace. You better head for Fort Stockton. If they do get past our block, they're within 90 miles of the border.
I'll do my best, Captain. So long.
Well, it's another baseball summer with ball fans all over the country watching their favorites and baseball champions all over the major leagues eating their Wheaties. Yup, and do they eat their Wheaties? The Philadelphia Phillies, Ashburn and Ennis. The Cleveland Indians, Lemon and Boudreaux. Stan Musial of the St. Louis Cards. George Kell of the Detroit Tigers. Pee Wee Reese of the Dodgers. They're all getting their Wheaties, breakfast of champions. And so are a lot of other smart people. Folks who want high-stepping energy to stride through their mornings high, wide, and handsome. They're getting Wheaties, too. Are you? Well, listen. You may not play ball for a living, but you can use Wheaties energy. You can use Wheaties vitamins, minerals, and protein. You can use Breakfast of Champions, too. There's a whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties flake. A whole golden kernel rolled out flat and toasted. Yes, there's a whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties flake. That's why Wheaties can do so much and help send you through the morning on high. That's why Wheaties at 7 can help at 11. You have some. Wheaties, the crisp way to get your whole wheat. Tomorrow morning, make yours milk and fruit and Wheaties. Breakfast of Champions. See for yourself how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11.
I started for the roadblock area in Pecos County, but I never got there. I was still 50 miles away when headquarters radioed me to contact them by phone. Had a feeling the news wasn't going to be good, and it wasn't.
We can forget about Pecos County, Jace. The Gordons broke through our roadblock.
Where?
Back road near Hovey. They turned a Tommy gun on the highway patrol and a sheriff's car.
Kill anybody?
2, and 2 more badly wounded. The men were just found when they didn't answer a radio call. Happened 2 hours ago.
Then the Gordons could be at the border by now.
The wildest part of it, Jace. And you'll have to guess what... Just a second. What is the first order? Okay, thanks. Here it is, Jace. Lab report on the burned envelope.
Where was it mailed from?
Boquillas, right across the Rio Grande from the Santiago Mountains. That country's murdered.
Worse for them than for us. River swollen by spring rains. They'll need a boat to cross.
County sheriff can beat through the mountains with posses. 10 miles each side.
I'll get as close as I can by car, and then Charcoal and I'll ride in. The posse will corner them. We'll have them.
You're the closest ranger unit, Jace. But those men are dangerous. You want to wait for some help?
No time for waiting. Now's the time for getting them. You'll hear from me. South of Brewster County, the world comes to an end. I drove as far as I could and met one wing of the sheriff's posse where Maravillas Creek runs into the Rio Grande. Any sign of them, Sheriff?
Nope. Got men working in from the other side of the mountains, though.
I'll get my horse and ride in with you a ways. Then we can split and fan out.
Good. Mighty fine horse, Ranger.
The best. Come on, Charcoal. Which of your men knows this section best?
Jaime Sanchez, I reckon.
I'd like him to ride with me when we split.
Oh, he'd be proud to. Sanchez!
Hey, you want me for something, Sheriff?
Ranger wants you to ride with him.
That's good with me.
Thanks, Sanchez. You got any signal arranged with the rest of your posse?
3 shots. 2 seconds between each one.
Good. Well, let's ride.
All right, men. Mount up.
We'll follow the river, and then you can drop off in pairs and head in toward the peak. The sheriff will pair you off. If you hit ground too rough for your horses, tie them off and move through on foot.
All got that?
All right, let's move. Come on, get We moved along the river, closing the circle and hoping that Joe and Tiny Gordon were inside of it. The country got rougher, and no horse could have taken it without the light of the moon. Posse paired off and thinned out. Finally, the sheriff and his last deputy turned off, and Sanchez and I went on alone. How far are we from Boquilla, Sanchez?
About 5 miles, senor, and we'll be right across the Rio.
We better turn toward the peak, then.
We can't go in very far in the horses. Maybe we should leave them right here. Easier to find again.
You're probably right. Whoa, boy.
Oh.
Tie him off over here.
See? There are some cabins up here in the mountains, but the men we are after wouldn't know about them.
What kind of cabins?
Old hunters' cabins from long ago when there was good hunting. But most of the game is gone. Nobody lives in them anymore.
No, but the Gordons might know about them anyhow.
You said they do not know this country.
Yeah, they could have been told. They're meeting somebody in Mexico. Some of their gang might have come through here before. That's why they picked this spot.
They're in such a hurry, though, I don't think they would stop.
Yeah, they would if the big boy got tired.
The big boy?
Yeah, Tiny Gordon, he's pigeon-toed. Something wrong with his feet. He's big and heavy and carrying a lot of weight. He's going to slow down in this country.
I think you're right, Ranger Pearson. He ain't got good feet. He slowed down plenty in here.
The cabins in the territory we're covering?
See, 2 of them.
Now, let's take a look.
See, the first one is right up this way to the left, about 2 miles in.
Doesn't seem to be anybody in there.
No. Maybe they're just waiting there.
Soon find out. Stay clear of the doorway and keep your gun ready while I go in.
See, but you better have your guns ready, too.
Don't worry. I got 'em. Watch it. Nobody here. Come in. Lamp here. I'll light it.
Something wrong with the lamp, senor?
No. But I don't think I'll light it after all. Use your flashlight instead.
See. There.
Feel the glass. The lamp chimney.
It's warm, senor.
Used less than half an hour ago. Could any of the posse have reached here before us?
I don't see how. They all turn in further back.
I mean the group working in from the other side.
No, they came all the way from Hot Springs, further than where we start. That's where the sheriff's deputy went to get them.
Flash your light around a little.
See.
Wait, turned on that chair again.
See.
Look. Dust wiped off it. Somebody sitting there not long ago, that scraped spot on the floor. He sat with his legs straight out. That scraping was done by his heels.
See, you have a good eye.
I think I'll sit down there and stretch my legs. My heels reach those marks?
No, not quite so far. But why do you do that?
Because I'm 6 feet tall. The man that sat in that chair is taller. Tiny Gordon is 6'3". Come on. Look around, see which way they headed.
See. I think this way, Ranger Pearson.
Why? What'd you find?
Somebody step on this dead log, take off a piece of the bark.
Yeah. And prints there, too. Here, flash your light.
See, here.
2 sets. One of them with the toes turning in. Now throw the light that way.
See, that bush.
First one through here held the branch back for the other to pass. Knocked off a few berries. Crushed them on the ground.
He's still wet from the juice.
We got direction now. Let's move. You better put that light off.
They're headed for the Rio, all right. Shouldn't we fire the gun now to signal for the posse?
No, we're too close. Gordons might hear it, too. Probably think they're safe in here. They don't know we've got a postmark. Better chance of getting them cold if they don't know.
See. You think they're going to fight if we catch them?
With murder charges in a couple of states, they got nothing to lose. They'll fight plenty. They left a trail all the way, easy to follow even by moonlight. It got fresher as we moved along and saw more and more spots where Tiny Gordon had stopped to rest, and the pace spots where Joe Gordon had moved around restlessly waiting for him. It wasn't long before we could hear the lapping of the Rio Grande as the foothills dipped down toward it. And then we heard them, moving and talking in the reeds at the edge of the river.
All right, take it easy, man.
How do you know? How do you know they got our letter? They expected us last night.
Let's try again. You know we ain't moving on a time schedule.
Suppose they don't come. Be light in a couple of hours.
So we'll go back to that cabin and hole up again until tomorrow night. Besides, who's going to see us here?
Maybe an Indian or something. How do you know who's liable to be tramping around? What are you, Daniel Boone or something?
Not dry up.
Don't you tell me to dry up, you little punk.
God, Tiny.
We figured that right. They're expecting a pickup from the Mexican side.
See, good thing the boat did not come
brought
yet.
those Tommy guns with us.
Lucky you could carry a .45. You tried to carry a Tommy gun the way you were flopping around in there, you'd have killed yourself and me, too.
I might kill you someday, Joe, shooting your mouth off.
Go on, try it. I'll blow your brains
Why,
out.
you want to punch in the jaw, Joe?
Try it.
Well, they got 45s. But so have we, see? Let's move in and take them. We slipped down to the edge of the reeds. I tapped Sanchez to move off about 30 yards so they'd have to come between us if they made a break away from the river. We couldn't see them in the reeds, but they couldn't see us either. Sanchez reached his position, and then I straightened up.
Tiny!
Hey,
Joe!
Who's that? Get up, Tiny.
I'm a Texas Ranger. There's a posse of 20 men in the hills. You're surrounded. Will you come out? That won't do you any good.
This way, Tiny.
Open up, Sanchez.
They'll get through here.
That's a posse signal, Tiny. They'll all be heading this way.
You won't be here to meet us. Lay gun.
What's the matter, Tiny? Your gun empty?
Mine isn't, Chopper!
Hey, how'd you fellas ever kill anybody? You don't even come close.
Where are you, you hicks? I'll kill all of you, you stinking hicks. I'm over here, senor. Oh, yeah?
The rest of the posse will be here soon. It'll be daylight. We'll starve you out or burn you out. You're hogtied. You better give up while you can.
I ain't giving up. I'll take a lot of you hicks with me. Come on, Joe.
Hey, will you?
Bring them this way, son.
Joe! Joe! Get dirty!
You had your chance, Tiny.
Hick! You dirty! Hick!
All right, Sanchez.
You got it, senor.
Guess this job is almost finished.
Almost finished. They look like they finished good.
Yeah, I mean the rest of the Crawford gang are from across the river. A nice surprise for them if they come over in their boat. Posse will be here soon, and we may be able to take them by surprise.
Easier than these two, senor. You know, I don't think they like us very much.
I saw what they did to a deputy sheriff and his kid. I didn't like the Gordon brothers very much either.
2 hours later, other members of the Crawford gang were surprised and captured without resistance when they crossed the Rio Grande to keep their rendezvous with the Gordon brothers. They were turned over to federal authorities to stand trial for their crimes.
Well, partner, whether you're riding the Texas prairie or smelting steel in Pittsburgh, first you need your Wheaties. Yep, breakfast of champions for folks with big things to do. It's a brighter morning and a better job when you begin a good breakfast with Wheaties. Here's why. There's a whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties flake. Yes, there's a whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties flake. That's why Wheaties can give so much. Whole wheat vitamins and minerals, protein too. Whole wheat energy to help you stride through the morning high, wide, and handsome. Yes, there's a whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties flake. That's how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11. You try 'em. Golden Flakes, Crisp Flakes, Wheaties Flakes. Have some tomorrow with milk and fruit, and see yourself how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11.
Next week, Joel McRae in another authentic reenactment of a case from the files of the Texas Rangers. Joel McRae will soon be seen starring in the Universal International Technicolor production Saddle Trim. Tonight's cast included Tony Barrett, Tom McKee, Tom Holland, Jack Crucian, Byron Kane, and Jay Novello. This story was transcribed and adapted by Joel Murcott, and the program was produced and directed by Stacy Keach. This is Hal Gibney speaking.
And this is the Wheaties man, Frank Martin, inviting you to listen Tuesday night to the Penny Singleton Show on the Wheaties Big Parade. See you then.
Tomorrow, Rose Bampton sings with the Summer Symphony on...
It's National Wheaties Week. Yes, it's National Wheaties Week, and Wheaties present Joel McCrea in Tales of the Texas Rangers. On stage tonight, transcribed from Hollywood, another in the Wheaties' big parade of exciting half-hour presentations. Tales of the Texas Rangers, starring Joel McCrea as Ranger Pearson. Texas, more than 260,000 square miles. And 50 men who make up the oldest and most famous law enforcement body in North America. From the files of the Texas Rangers come these stories based on fact. Only names, dates, and places are fictitious for obvious reasons. The events themselves are a matter of record. Case for tonight, Quicksilver.
At 11:30 on the night of May 22nd, 1947, the Stockholm Ranch, located in the middle of Carson County, Texas, was darkened for the night when the occupants were awakened by the barking of a dog.
Jim, wake up.
What's the matter, Flo?
You hear Jeep bark?
Oh, kinda. I was half asleep.
It's funny. He barked and then shut up real fast.
He might have took off after something.
He'd have kept on barking then. It sounded like he was...
Be quiet a second.
See? Don't hear him anymore.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Gonna take a look, see. It ain't like Jeep to bark at nothing, then shut up.
Jim.
What's the matter?
Jim, somebody came in the house.
Oh, you probably just heard the kid tossing in his sleep.
No, I got a funny feeling.
All right, I'll put on a light and have a look.
I'm coming along. I want to go and see if anything...
It's National Wheaties Week.
Time to buy Wheaties, eat Wheaties, buy more Wheaties, eat more Wheaties. Time to join America in a brighter morning. Sure, it's National Wheaties Week. Everybody's eating them. You have some, too. Have them for fun. Have them for flavor. Have them for feeling good and working good and looking good. Have Wheaties for any reason at all, but get them. Whole wheat, crisp whole wheat, golden whole wheat. There's a whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties flake. You try them. See how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11. It's National Wheaties Week.
On May 29th, 1947, the bodies of Jim and Flo Stockholm and their 10-year-old son, Carl, were discovered by a playmate of Carl's. Sheriff Lockins notified the Texas Rangers, and Ranger Jace Pearson was assigned to the case.
Place is just like it was, Jace, excepting for the bodies.
Kind of a mess, isn't it, Sheriff?
Yeah.
All three of them in their night clothes, you said.
Uh-huh. This here is Jim and Flo's bedroom.
I see. Bedclothes mussed up. Whoever did the killing woke him up.
Likely the dog woke him.
Oh, yeah. Jeep, you said.
Found him dead a piece from the house. Clubbed over the head.
Uh-huh. Okay, let's say Flo and Jim Stockholm were awakened by the dog. Jim would get up and see what was the matter. Flo went with him probably to see if the kid Carl was okay.
They didn't get no further than in this room here, right outside the bedroom.
Yeah, all three of them. Funny Jim Stockholm didn't have a gun.
Yeah. If he thought somebody was in a house or prowling around outside, he'd have grabbed his gun.
Unless something stopped him.
What are you thinking about, Jace?
Just that the killer might have got in Carl's room.
That's right over here.
Uh-huh. Maybe Carl spotted the killer, hollered, and that'd make both Jim and Flo jump fast.
Yeah. Jim wouldn't think of grabbing his gun.
This window here has been jimmied up. You see that?
Yeah. I guess you're right. Killer coming this way. Kids saw him, yelled.
Tried to get out. Got as far as the room out here.
Uh-huh. There's what they were killed with, Jace.
Flat iron. An old-fashioned flat iron.
Yeah, used as a doorstop. Killer grabbed it and used it. Wonder why he didn't shoot.
How far away is the next ranch, Sheriff?
6 miles at least. Why?
Just figuring maybe the killer didn't want to risk the noise of shots. Must have picked up the flat iron.
Why, he killed the little kid, too.
Didn't want anybody to be able to identify him.
Yeah, likely. Well, what now, Jace?
I'd like to fine-comb this house for fingerprints. Meantime, I got a few things I'd like you to find out in town. There were no fingerprints anywhere, except those we knew were of the murdered people. The motive for the crime was robbery. Jim Stockholm kept fairly large sums of money on hand to pay cash for whatever he bought. We didn't find a penny in the house. The whole thing looked hopeless, like the sheriff said when he came back to the Stockholm ranch.
Yeah, the coroner can't give us much, Jace. Ain't no way of telling how long they've been dead.
If we could find out what day the murders were committed, we'd have something. Not much, but something.
Yeah, but how? How are you going to find that out?
Nobody saw the Stockholms before they were killed?
For sure. Jim went into town on the 22nd week ago. Out here, if nobody sees his neighbor for a week, ain't nothing thought about it.
So the murders could have been committed any time between the 22nd and the day the bodies were discovered.
That's the way it sizes up, Jace. Killer's got at least a week to make tracks for, well, Texas is big.
Uh-huh. Sheriff, that fence there, near the corral.
Oh, that's a hog pen. It's... Hey, the hogs are gone.
Yeah, busted through. Come on.
I never noticed it before. Never thought about looking for the hogs.
Who would? Well, look here, Sheriff, where the fence is busted through. Look at these.
Here.
Hog bristles. Lots of them. Caught on the broken part of the rail. Hogs broke out and pushed through here.
Yeah, but look at here, Jace. What's it got to do with what we're after?
What made these hogs go wild and break out? It's my guess they got awful hungry.
Sure. And went looking for something to eat.
Come on. We're going to the barn and take a look at the hog feed. Then we're going into town. We found 3 sacks of hog feed in the barn. 2 of them were full, unopened. The third had just about enough mash taken out for 1 feeding. Sheriff Larkins and I went into town. Then the sheriff asked a few questions I wanted answered, and I checked at the feed store.
Sure, Jim Stockholm bought all his feed in here, Ranger.
You remember when he was in last, ma'am?
Bet I do. It's the last time anybody saw him.
The 22nd?
That's it.
What'd he buy?
3 sacks of hog mash.
Yeah, got all the information you wanted, Jace.
Thanks, Sheriff. Now, ma'am, is there anything else you can remember about that day? Stockholm seemed troubled or anything?
No, just stopped in for a minute. All he said was he had to get back with the mash. He was all out.
Are you sure of that?
Just as sure as I'm standing here.
And you're sure it was the 22nd?
I can make it real sure, Ranger. Got all my sales in this book. Let's see. 25th. Yeah, here it is. 22nd. 3 sacks of hog mash to Jim Stockholm.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's go, Sheriff.
You're sure welcome, Ranger.
You helped a lot.
What have you got, Jace?
The Stockholms were killed on the 22nd.
How do you know?
Jim Stockholm bought these 3 sacks of feed on the 22nd. He said he was all out at the ranch. He had to get home and feed the hogs. We found 2 of the bags unopened.
Yeah, and the third with only about enough mash out of it to give the hogs 1 meal.
Which means he fed the hogs on the 22nd, but he didn't the next day or the next.
Because he was dead.
That's it. Now we got a lot of checking to do, and it's all going to hinge around the 22nd. We questioned everybody, but it all added up to a big round zero. Everybody knew Jim Stockholm and liked him. He didn't have an enemy. Everyone we questioned could account for his time on the 22nd. Nobody'd seen a stranger in town. So I played a hunch. Sheriff Larkins and I rode over to the Stockholm ranch trying to pick up anything. Then about 8 miles north of the ranch, we got a break.
Hey, Chase! Chase!
Yeah, Sheriff?
Here, will you?
What do you got, Sheriff?
I don't know. Looks like ashes. Empty bean can there, too.
Uh-huh. Looks like somebody cooked himself a meal here.
Horses' tracks around here, too. One horse.
Yeah. Looks like they might be about a week old.
Might not mean a thing, Chase. Could be anybody's horse.
Sure could, but nobody in town saw a stranger. Little town like that, people notice a stranger right away. But if a man came riding from this direction, chances are nobody'd see him.
Still could be anybody.
I know. Well, I'm going to take a real close look.
Okay, I'll cover this part.
Good. Sheriff, come here.
Get something?
I think so. Look. Tied his horse to this mesquite. See? The horse stood here, a piece of mesquite broken off. Oh, and here's something else. Take a look.
Dirt. Just ordinary earth.
Take a good look.
Well, it's different from the earth around here.
It sure is. Different color and different texture. Sheriff, I got a hunch this dirt scraped off a boot when he got back in the saddle. Scraped off by a stirrup.
Yeah, here's a bigger hunk of it.
Yeah, reddish color. You ever see dirt like this around here?
No. That hunk's got a funny shape.
Packed in against the instep of a boot, it'd take this shape. You had any rain around here lately?
Dry as a bone.
There's only one way earth packs up in an instep if it's wet. The man who left this couldn't have come far. Come on. Let's see if we can find a couple of his footprints. We picked up a few prints. I took their measurements. Then we went back into town. I asked some more questions. Meantime, I sent the earth samples to the lab for analysis. And by the time I got back to my headquarters, Captain Stinson had the report.
Looks like this earth came from southwest Wheeler County, Jace. At least the lab thinks so.
Wheeler County, southwest. Well, it kind of fits, Captain.
Fits what?
That part of Wheeler County is not far from Stockholm Ranch.
No, it isn't.
Just about as far as it'd take wet earth to dry out and get hard enough to scrape off a man's boot.
Yeah, I see. What else you got?
A few horse hairs I picked off the mesquite bush. Looks like the fellow was riding a sorrel. And something else. Plaster casts of his boot prints.
Mm-hmm. It's a pretty big boot.
Big man. Maybe 6'2" or 3.
You're right. But there are no fingerprints. There's no real evidence. This fellow whose boot prints you got, he might have been anybody. Might never have gone near the Stockholm Ranch.
Yeah, I know that, Captain.
You didn't pick up any of his boot prints around the house, did you?
No, place was pretty messed up. A lot of people got there before I did.
Yeah, that's one break a criminal always gets. If only people'd stay away. If only they'd have enough sense to realize.
Sure, but they don't. They don't mean any harm, though.
Okay, what's next? Look for a man 6'2" or 3 riding a sorrel?
I'd like to, Captain.
Starting where?
Well, Texas, I guess.
It's National Wheaties Week.
Yup. And in celebration of National Wheaties Week, when everybody eats Wheaties, even trombone players, here's that well-known radio musician, Abe Lincoln. Honest, his name really is Abe Lincoln. And here he is, stepping out from behind the scenes to say,
"Get your Wheaties."
Oh, come on, Abe. You didn't come out from your trombone to say just that.
No, but that's the idea. Folks, the Wheaties Big Parade has been bringing you some pretty solid entertainment this summer. I can say it because I've worked along with all the other fellows helping put this entertainment on the air. And now it's National Wheaties Week, And we hope that every one of you who's enjoyed these programs will go out and get your Wheaties. The backstage folks like me, the people whose voices you usually never hear, we'd sure like it if we thought you'd enjoy our programs enough to go out and get some Wheaties. If you like the Texas Rangers, buy a box of Wheaties on Monday, will you?
Thanks, and good night, Abe. Remember, it's National Wheaties Week.
I kicked around for a few days, covering all the ground I could between the Stockholm Ranch and Wheeler County, and then I reported back to Captain Stinson. Kind of picked up something interesting, Captain.
Like what, Jace?
Weather reports. Here's a map of Wheeler County. The places I've marked in red had rain within the last 3 weeks.
Oh? Well, what about it?
Well, this place. Right here. The only spot of the marked places that'll show the same kind of earth we had analyzed. I checked.
Mm-hmm. So it's narrowed down to that. But you can't arrest a man just because he happened to be in a place where it rained.
I know I'm working on a shoestring, but there's no other lead, nothing. Might be I'll hit a stone wall or pick up some poke who just happened to pass through the spot where we found the prints of Earth, but it's a chance, Cap, the only one.
Well, suppose you chase down that lead in Wheeler County and your man's gone.
Oh, I don't expect to find him there. He left there and landed at Stockholm Ranch, maybe.
And left no fingerprints. There's not a single piece of evidence.
It's still the only lead.
You want to stick to Wheeler County, huh?
That's about it, Captain. Maybe pick up a description of a possible suspect.
Well, where'll you start?
Well, here's what I think. The man we're looking for is a drifter. Maybe a poke that picks up work here and there where he can get it. The fact that he ate a can of beans and cooked it himself means he didn't have a nickel to buy a decent meal, even though he was near a town. That kind's usually a drifter. Made a buck here and a nickel there. You see what I mean?
All right, Jace. Play the hunch. But if the lead peters out...
I'm hoping it won't. See you later.
Now, you keep in touch.
Yeah. Radio or phone. So long. A little while later, I was in Wheeler County, southwest. I checked one ranch after another, some big, some small. What I wanted to know was, had anyone seen a man about 6'2" or 3, a man who owned a sorrel and didn't have steady work? I once read where a man found a needle in a haystack. Did it on a bet. Well, my needle could be in any haystack. Then on the Claude Edwards ranch near Ramsdell, I ran into something.
Sure, I remember a poke about like that, Ranger. Big fella. Had himself a sorrel.
Did he work for you, Mr. Edwards?
Couple of days. Drifted in looking for something to do. I don't usually have work for more than my own hand, but this fella come in just about when I needed somebody else, and...
What was his name?
Orwell. Yeah, that was it, Orwell.
Now, when was he here?
Oh, let me see now. That'd be around the 19th, 20th.
And when did he leave?
He do something, Ranger?
I don't know, Mr. Edwards, but I'd sure like to hear everything you know about him.
Well, he worked for a couple of days, then come in asking for his pay. That was maybe the 22nd.
Are you sure?
Pretty darn sure.
It's awful important.
All right, I'm sure. We had a spell of rain about then. I had him mend the roof. He didn't like it none.
Did he say where he was going? Anything at all?
Didn't say, and I didn't ask. Just handed him his pay. Saw him in town later, dropping it in a card game. Then he lit out.
All right. Now I want the best description of him you can possibly give me. Everything you can remember. What he looked like, how he talked, acted.
I'll try, Ranger. But how are you going about finding him? By now, he might be clear into Mexico. Any place.
I'm going to do my best, Mr. Edwards. And I'm not sure that's going to be enough. I got a description of Orwell. 6'2", dark hair, rode a sorrel, tight-lipped and not too easy to get along with, black mustache. Funny how little that people notice things unless it's something they really want to see. What description we had was sent out. 50 false leads came through, 100. But every once in a while, one came through that matched something else. Captain Stinson and I talked it over.
Well, maybe it is something, Jace. Look.
100 different leads, but there's one that shows up every so often. This one. Same description. drifter, gambles a lot, had a dozen different jobs.
Now, there's something else, Chase. Now, look at the pattern here.
Yeah, I am. This one keeps moving southwest, always away. The others jump around. The last report came from San Carlo 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to mosey into San Carlo and see if I can pick up anything from there. I figure this Orwell's moving slow. He's counting on being safe by now.
What if you find him? There's still not much evidence. We'd have to get a confession out of him. Nothing we've got will stick in a court.
I got an idea about that. Let me try it, Captain. In San Carlo, I picked up a few more scraps about Orwell. From what I'd learned, I tried to think like the man I was trailing. Tried to figure out his next move. He gambled a lot, so every town I hit, I asked questions, went to ranches, and asked about poker games and crap games. Orwell was like Quicksilver. Yeah, he was here. Left. Uh-huh. He was there. Left after picking up a few dollars. But the pattern stayed the same. Always moving southwest. Then on the McMillan Ranch near the New Mexico border.
Orwell? You say Orwell, Ranger?
That's the name. He's riding a sorrel horse.
Well, I don't like to say for sure, but I took on a fella named of Orwell, and he did come in riding a sorrel. As soon as he hit the bunkhouse, he'd try to shake up a poker game.
Where is he now?
Well, I sent him out this morning to ride fence. Stock was getting through.
How long ago did he leave?
Oh, 3 or 4 hours. Maybe a little more.
Tell me something else.
Oh, sure. What?
Did he have any money when he left this morning?
Well, funny you ask about that, Ranger. Matter of fact, it touched me for a $5 against any pay he had coming. He ought to be coming back soon now. Almost time for chow.
He touched you for $5. He won't be back for chow. I'm going after him. I followed the fence rider's trail. It was well into the afternoon when I spotted a rider up ahead. I took off my badge and stuck it in my pocket, put my guns in my waistband under my jacket, and caught up with him. Whoa, boy, whoa. Howdy.
Who are you?
Name's Pearson. You're Orwell, huh?
Yeah, why?
Boss sent me out to look for you.
Boss? Oh, whoa.
Yeah, foreman back at Mellett's ranch.
What for?
Well, we got to get back to the north fence.
You wasn't working there when I left.
Just got took on. I guess we better get back to the north fence. Boss says it's important.
That's so.
Say, come to think of it, you're not even on the ranch anymore. I hit the boundary fence a piece back.
All right, I got news for you, mister. I ain't riding fence. Now you take off. You see about that north fence.
Huh? You mean you're quitting?
Right the first time, mister. Now, so long.
Hey, hold it a minute. You're downright unsociable.
Whoa, boy, whoa. You're downright nosy.
Me? I didn't mean to be. Say, you mind if I ride a piece with you?
Yeah, I do.
Well, I'd kind of like company.
Thought you was just took on at the Mellett's place. Seems to me you're riding wrong, mister.
No, I got no hankering for work either. Not with 500 in my jeans.
500? A poke like you with 500?
Got lucky in a crap game night before last.
And why'd you take the job?
Oh, man can always use a couple more bucks. Well, I guess I'll be riding on.
Hey, wait.
Huh?
Okay. I kind of like company myself. You want to ride a piece with me? It's okay.
We rode on the rest of the day, and I found out Orwell was planning to head into Mexico. We bedded down early. And along toward midnight, when Orwell thought I was asleep, he raised up and moved toward me.
Hey, Pearson, you sleeping?
Something you want in my saddlebag, Orwell?
I thought you were sleeping.
No. Don't reach for it, Orwell. I'll blow your head off.
What What are you getting so head up about?
Man starts to go through my saddlebags when I'm sleeping. I get touchy.
I'm just looking for cigarettes. No need for that gun.
Yeah?
Sure.
Wasn't looking for 500, were you?
You call me a crook?
You name it, Orwell.
You are touchy. Okay. Put that gun away, Pearson. You're acting like a kid. I tell you, I was just looking for cigarettes.
Sure. Guess I did maybe bust a strap. Okay, bring that saddlebag. Cigarettes are in it.
Yeah, sure. Left or right one?
Right.
There you are. You open it this time. Hey, what you got in there?
Stuff. Okay. Cigarettes are wrapped up in that piece of blanket. Help yourself.
Well, thanks. Cigarettes in here? Feels like a ton of iron.
Could be.
Wait!
Anything wrong, Orwell?
It's a flat iron.
Uh-huh.
Funny thing to be carrying around.
Why? I knew a man once carried around a cow skull tied to his saddle horn.
Why are you carrying this?
Dunno. Why are you asking?
Who are you?
I told you. Name's Pearson. Jace Pearson. Cigarettes are there. Help yourself.
I don't want any.
Suit yourself. Mind handing me that flat iron, Orwell?
Why?
I just want it. Go on. Go on, hand it to me.
No.
Hey, you're looking real pale, Orwell. You're not scared of coyotes, are you?
Shut up.
Iron makes a good nutcracker. Maybe I carry it for that.
Shut up, I said.
Go on, Orwell. Hand me the flat iron. Pick it up. It's not so heavy. It's heavy enough. Man could pick it up like this, lift it up over his head and bring it down hard like... Why not?
Why, you...
No. Orwell, stand still. Don't run. Hold it, Orwell. I'm warning you. Hold it.
Don't shoot again.
Unless I have to.
Who are you?
Pearson. Texas Rangers.
Figured I'd get caught up with...
Guess we better start going, Orwell. You're not hurt too bad. Shooting by moonlight kind of spoils a man's aim. Come on, let's go.
William Orwell confessed to the murders of Jim and Florence Stockholm and their son Carl. On July 15th, 1947, Orwell was convicted. His sentence, death in the electric chair.
Joel McRae, your Texas Ranger, has asked me to ask you to have some Wheaties. Yes, have some Wheaties because it's National Wheaties Week. The week when everybody goes out and buys a box and enjoys a dish of America's famous whole wheat flakes. Start early in National Wheaties Week so you'll have time to buy 'em and eat 'em and buy some more and eat some more. Wheaties, that is. And while you're enjoying 'em, partner, you're getting wide-awake energy, whole wheat energy. There's a whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties flake. Begin a better breakfast with Wheaties and see if you don't find yourself striding high, wide, and handsome right through the morning. Rangers can ride better, salesmen can sell better, plumbers can plumb better with a better breakfast. Milk and fruit and Wheaties. Get yours. Breakfast of champions. It's National Wheaties Week.
Next week, Joel McRae in another authentic reenactment of a case from the files of the Texas Rangers. Joel McRae will soon be seen starring in the MGM production Stars in My Crown. Tonight's cast included Tony Barrett, D.J. Thompson, Byron Kane, Lou Krugman, and Russell Simpson. This story was transcribed and adapted by Russell Hughes, and the program was produced and directed by Stacy Keith. Hal Gibney speaking.
And this is the Wheaties man, Frank Martin, inviting you to listen on Tuesday night to the Penny Singleton Show on the Wheaties Big Parade. See you then. Remember, it's National Wheaties Week.
Come on, everybody, to the Wheaties party. Eat a lot of Wheaties like the champions do. Dance together, cheek to cheek. This is National Wheaties Week. Eat a lot of Wheaties like the champions do. Wheaties, a breakfast of champions.
Tomorrow, Sigmund Romberg conducts the Summer Symphony on NBC.
Wheaties presents Joel McRae in Tales of the Texas Rangers. On stage tonight, transcribed from Hollywood, another in the Wheaties big parade of exciting half-hour presentations. Tales of the Texas Rangers, starring Joel McRae as Ranger Pearson. Texas, more than 260,000 square miles, and 50 men who make up the most famous and oldest law enforcement body in North America. Now, from the files of the Texas Rangers come these stories based on fact. Only names, dates, and places are fictitious for obvious reasons. The events themselves are a matter of record. Case for tonight, the White Elephant.
It is January 16th, 1950. The time, 6:28 p.m. A freight train just outside of a West Texas town gains speed and rolls through the gathering dusk. Inside a gondola car, a hobo crouches in a corner as the brakeman comes toward him.
All right, Bo, this is where you get off.
Now, listen, pal, just let me get to the next town.
I said this is where you get off.
But we're moving.
Yeah, you get on where we was moving, you can get off. Now, come on, or I'll dust the top of your head.
Now, listen, don't do it, I tell you.
Get on your feet like this.
No, let go.
No, you want to get tough, huh?
I told you to leave me alone, pal.
Slug me, will you?
Oh, you ain't getting me. I'm coming.
Tales of the Texas Rangers will continue in just a moment.
You take a nice, ripe, plump kernel of wheat, and you roll it out flat, and you toast it a little. And what have you got? A Wheatie. Do that over and over and over again. Do that enough times, and pretty soon you have a whole bowl full of Wheaties, and you can sit down to breakfast. Now, of course, you and I know not many people go to all that work to get their breakfast Wheaties. They just tip up that big Wheaties box and let those crisp little flakes tumble into the bowl. And you know what? When you do that, you get the very same 100% whole wheat goodness and energy that you'd get if you rolled out your own Wheaties flakes kernel by kernel. And the best tip I can give you is to tip the Wheaties into your own bowl first thing in the morning and see how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11.
At 2:55 a.m. of the morning following the freight train incident, a rancher named Banker noticed a small coupe parked on the shoulder of the road. It bore Oklahoma license plates. Banker turned his spotlight on the car, saw a man slumped down on the driver's seat. A half hour later, Sheriff Caldwell, notified by Banker, began investigation of the murder and called in the Texas Rangers. Ranger Jace Pearson was assigned to the case. And a few hours later, Pearson, Banker, and Sheriff Caldwell stood at the scene. Pearson listened to Banker.
It was just about 3 this morning when I saw it, Ranger.
How come you were driving along this road that late?
I've been to a ranchers' meeting in Almira's. I was going to spend the night there and change my mind.
Uh-huh. Did you take this road when you left for Almira's?
Yes, sir.
What time?
Yesterday morning, about 7:30.
And then this car came here sometime between 7:30 yesterday morning and 3 this morning.
I guess so.
You never saw the dead man before, huh?
It was the first time I laid eyes on him.
All right, Mr. Banker. You can go.
Hey, you need me, I'll be home.
No identification on the body at all, huh, Sheriff?
Nothing in the pockets. Picked clean as a whistle.
Anybody else been around the car?
Nope. Deputy kept his eyes on it.
Car's facing west. Going west when it was stopped. Tire tracks on the shoulder tell that.
Mm-hmm.
Blood on the seat.
Yep. 38 bullet on it.
38?
Might be a police special.
Banker got one?
Banker, but...
Just asking. For now. You see,
You see something?
Look here, Sheriff.
Huh?
Set of tracks leading up to the car. Ordinary shoes, not boots. Heel marks are too broad for boots.
Yeah, looks like it. Look at this one.
Sole print with a hole in it. Now look. The prints lead from that way, north, up to the car. A little scuffle, and the prints turn back north.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, Sheriff, somebody walked up to the car, stood there, then turned and went back north. Oh, and here's something else.
Grease. Looks like grease.
Smeared on the car door. Same side footprints are on.
Grease might be from the car.
Oh, looks too stiff and heavy for that.
Yeah. What about it coming from a freight train, Jace?
Why?
Well, there's tracks about a mile north of here. Freight's use the siding to pull on when passengers got to pass.
Maybe it all ties in, Sheriff. A shoe with a hole in it, grease, freight siding. Yeah, might be worth going after.
Where do we start?
Here at the car first. I'm going to check it over inch by inch. Meantime, you get hold of a freight schedule. I'll meet you at your office. When I checked the car inside and out, I found a few things that were interesting and a little puzzling. I sent a sample of grease to the laboratory for analysis and took plaster casts of the footprints. Then went on to Sheriff Caldwell's office. He had the information I'd requested.
Here it is, Jace. Schedule of freights went through yesterday.
How many?
3 of them.
We can check those, all right. Of course, we might be sending the dogs up the wrong tree.
Looks like a hobo to me.
Yeah. Let me see the dead man's fingerprints.
Sure, here you are.
Oh, these match with some of the prints in the car, see? Closed delta.
Yeah. How about those others you got?
Picked these up on the door that had the grease on it, smeared all over. A couple clear enough to use, only...
Only what, Jace?
You know, there wasn't a single print on the steering wheel. Seems like the dead man's prints ought to be on it.
Gloves?
I didn't find any gloves on him, nor in the car.
Yeah. You know, by the way, I got a call out if any hobo picked up or seen on those trains.
Good. Oh, I found these tucked under the sun visor in front of the driver's seat. Gasoline receipts made out to Carl Thompson.
Oh, that'll save a lot of checking.
We'll forward the dead man's prints anyway. That steering wheel bothers me.
Excuse me, Jace. Sheriff Caldwell. Oh, yeah. Good. Hold him. We'll be there as soon as we can make it. Something else, Jace. Brakeman in one of those freights we've been checking has a story. Some hobo slugged him and jumped.
Okay, let's go. The brakeman took us to the approximate spot the hobo jumped off the freight. Sheriff Caldwell and I picked up the trail and followed it by horse. We hoped to apprehend the suspect before he could reach a town and lose himself and us. After 6 hours, we stopped.
What's the matter, Jace?
Tracks are different. Come here and take a look.
Different?
Yeah, look. The right print's a little deeper, favoring his left a little.
Hurt himself, huh?
Must have twisted his leg when he took the jump off the freight. Kept getting worse. Sat down here, smoked a cigarette. Here's the butt.
He ain't going to make such a good time with a bum leg. We've been traveling at a steady trot.
Uh-huh. Okay. Let's get going. The suspect's trail showed increased favoring of his left leg. His progress became slower. More and more often he stopped to rest, and the trail became fresher and fresher. Evidence in a deserted shack showed suspect had rested there for quite a while. We picked up the trail again. We're getting close, Sheriff.
How do you know?
Noticed something just now. Take a look at these prints.
Same as the ones we've been following.
Not quite.
Hole in the right shoe.
It's not that. I'm talking about this anthill he crushed.
Well, what about it?
Quite a few of the prints had anthills in them, crushed and rebuilt.
So?
Ants start working on a new hill when the old one's been tramped down. This one's so fresh they haven't had time to rebuild.
Hey, that's right. He can't be far off.
Guess we better leave the horses tied up here, Sheriff, and start moving on foot. At 8:15 that evening, we found the man we were hunting. He was asleep. He gave us no trouble, and he denied anything and everything about the crime. We took him back, and I kept questioning him, but he stuck to his story.
I never was there. I didn't do it.
Ever own a gun? 38 Police Special?
I told you 100 times I never owned no kind of gun.
How'd you take all that skin off your arm?
Dunno. Fell, maybe.
You got that while you were running away. When you jumped off the freight, after you slugged the brakeman.
No.
Grease on your jacket. How'd it get there?
Maybe off in the freight.
Sure. That car we showed you, the one you said you'd never seen before.
That's the truth.
Is it? Hold up your right foot.
What?
Hold it up. Hole in the right shoe.
What of it?
Here's a plaster cast. Cast at the print of the scene of the murder. Take a good look.
But I wasn't there, I tell you.
Ever hear of fingerprints?
Oh, sure.
Here are yours. And here's a set found at the crime. They match. You still say you weren't there?
I didn't kill nobody.
Let me see your hands. When'd you wash them last?
I don't know. Maybe a couple of days ago.
You know we can tell if you fired a gun.
I never had no gun.
Did you rob the man in the car?
No.
Look at me. You were there, weren't you? We can prove it.
Well, all right, I was there. But I didn't kill him.
Why'd you lie?
Well, I was scared.
If you're innocent, you don't have to be scared.
Look, Ranger, I got a couple of bag wraps.
That all?
Hey, sure.
We can check that, too.
All right. I got a couple of wraps for pinching stuff. Nothing big.
Now, look. Tell me exactly what you did.
Well, I come in off a freight. I was walking across when I seen the car. I figured it was funny, something funny.
Why?
Well, car parked like that. Then I walked over, seen the fella in there. He was dead. I beat it, hopped the freight.
That all?
You know what else up to now.
Did you get in the car at
No,
all?
sir.
Did you touch the body or take anything from it?
I swear, Range, I didn't.
Did you touch the steering wheel and then wipe it off?
Wipe it? No. What for? Look, I tell you,
Jace?
Yeah, Sheriff.
Come here, will you?
Sure. You stay put.
I got no place to go.
Here's all the dope on the murdered man, Thompson. Come in just now.
Carl Thompson, resident Tulsa, Oklahoma, traveling salesman for Prince Extract Company. This checked?
Double.
Tallies with the gasoline receipts.
Mm-hmm. What about him?
The hobo?
Yeah.
I think the only crime he committed was failure to report what he saw. His fingerprints were all over the outside of the one door of that car, and none inside. Seems to me if he thought of cleaning up the inside, he'd have done the same outside.
Yeah, looks like it.
We'll give him the paraffin test anyway and see if he's fired a gun lately.
And if he didn't?
Start all over. And start with that clean steering wheel.
In just a moment, we continue with Tales of the Texas Rangers, starring Joel McCrea as Ranger Jace Pearson.
I guess nobody gets much of a taste treat out of taking their calcium and iron and phosphorus or their vitamins straight. But you simply have to have all those things to keep feeling good. And you should have them first thing in the morning, too. Because morning's the time you do most of your big day's work. That's when you really need the energy. You see, morning is the time when you really should...
Wait a minute, Frank. Why don't you just tell them this? See how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11.
Why, you took the words right out of my mouth, of course. Wheaties at 7. Because Wheaties have all those vitamins and minerals. That's how Wheaties give you the zip it takes to feel eager and ready for anything all morning long. Whether you drive a truck or plow a field or if you're just plain busy with a multitude of household duties. And Wheaties do you another big favor. Wheaties wrap all those vitamins up in a wonderful, sunny, toasty, nut-like flavor that fairly hollers, give me some more. Wheaties are crisp. They're munchy. You know, fun to chew on. Tastes as good going down as they make you feel when they get there.
So do this, will you? Not for me, but for yourself. Hurry on down to the Wheaties tomorrow morning and just see for yourself how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11.
The result of the paraffin test was negative, but we held the hobo pending further investigation. I reported back to my captain, Stinson, at company headquarters. I told him I was pretty sure that the hobo's story checked out.
Yeah, it looks like it. But somebody killed Thompson.
Killed him and then drove him in his own car to where that rancher spotted it.
There wasn't anything on Thompson, huh?
No money, no papers, only these. Gasoline charge account receipts. Somebody went to an awful lot of trouble to clean him, but they overlooked these.
Mm-hmm.
On top, this looks like a plain case of murder with robbery as the motive, but if that was it, why go to all the risk of being spotted in a car with Oklahoma plates? Why not just kill him and leave him?
I don't know, Jace. What's your thinking?
Well, Thompson was a traveling salesman, traveled a lot in a few days. Now, suppose the killer realized that with Thompson far enough away from the scene of the crime, we'd have a pretty tough time finding out just where the murder was committed.
Yeah, that could be. But why?
Well, maybe the killer couldn't leave the spot. So he did the next best thing. Took Thompson's body away. And maybe it wasn't just robbery.
Well, what else?
I don't know yet, but I got some more checking to do. It'll take maybe a couple of hours, and then I might have some answers.
Well, a couple hours on the nose, Jace. You get anything new?
Some more dope on Thompson, Captain. He never carried much money, never was known to have picked up a hitchhiker, and I got a pretty good idea where he was killed. These gasoline receipts tell a fair story.
Yeah? How?
Well, this one, for example, dated the 15th day before he was killed, made out in Bannon. He got 16 gallons of gas there.
Oh, did you ever think somebody else might have been using his credit card?
Yeah, but Thompson traveled that route pretty often. Chances are he was well known at the service stations.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, go on.
I ran a mileage test on his car. He got about 17 miles a gallon. Now, his tank holds 16. I did a little figuring. Just about enough gas was used to get him from Bannon to where his body was found.
But he could have been killed anywhere between Bannon and where he was found dead.
Sure, I know that. But it still looks like my next stop is Bannon.
Howdy, Ranger.
Howdy.
How many?
Whatever she'll take.
Sure thing.
You the owner here?
Yes, sir.
How long?
Oh, a couple of years.
You work alone?
Well, nights, yeah.
Take a look at this, will you?
Oh, one of my receipts. Credit card stuff.
You know this Carl Thompson?
Yeah, see him every, 4 or 5 months.
When did you see Thompson last?
Well, the evening he bought that gas. Why, anything wrong, Ranger?
Was Thompson alone that evening?
Yeah. I never remember him ever having anybody along.
What else do you remember about that evening?
Oh, one of the worst sleet storms we ever had. Hit like
it'd be tough for him to drive then, huh?
Oh, sure. Well, hey, he was asking about some place to stay.
You never stayed in Bannon before?
I don't know. Leastways, he didn't know much about the places. I told him to try the hotel. He said it was full up. He said the motels were jam-packed. The lousy weather.
You know where he went?
Well, said he was going to try and find a place along the highway. Why, anything wrong?
Plenty. Here's for the gas. I might come back and ask you some more questions. Thanks. I began a check of every possible place Thompson might have stayed that night, but I drew one blank after another. Then I got a lead at a motel on the outskirts of Bannon.
Sure, Ranger. I remember that night. Sleet was an inch thick. We was full up here, but I sent him to a place down the highway, the Star Motel. Been closed and up for sale for quite a spell, but I heard it was opened up again.
went to the Star Motel. It was closed tight. Every cabin was locked, the windows boarded. There wasn't a soul around. I was just about to leave when I noticed something. The electricity must have been on somewhere in the place because the little wheel under the dials of the meter was spinning. It was enough to send me back into town to ask a few more questions.
Now, let me see, Ranger. Star Motels. Yes, sir. Here's what we want right here.
Uh-huh. Are these all the electricity bills?
Yes, sir.
Let me see. Up to 3 months ago, the bills were just for meter installation, minimum service charge.
That's right, Ranger.
But for the last 3 months, $475, $389, $560. Kind of funny, isn't it? The place is closed, but for the last 3 months, the bills have averaged over $4 a month. Didn't that seem peculiar to you?
Well, Ranger, we just...
Sure, I know. Now, can you give me the name of the person to whom these bills were sent?
Get it for you right away.
Why, yes, Ranger. Mr. Carlson's here. I believe he's on the phone right now, but if you come in...
Thank you, ma'am. You Mrs. Carlson?
Yes.
I hope I'm not bothering you any, Miss Carlson.
Not at all, Ranger. My husband's here.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I see. Well, I think that can be arranged. Yeah, sure. Tell you what, I'll come out a little later. I'll bring the client with me. Sure. Thanks for calling. Goodbye.
And this is Ranger Pearson.
Oh, hello.
Sorry to barge in like this, Mr. Carlson, but I got a few questions.
Questions? Sure, what about?
You own the Star Motel, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Star Motel. Oh, that white elephant.
White elephant?
Yeah, I've been trying to get rid of it for 2 years.
Why?
Well, like Bessie said, it ain't been worth a hoot since the new highway went in 2 years ago. Only half the traffic that used to pass it.
It hasn't been used for 2 years?
Well, I guess I didn't mean exactly that.
What did you mean?
I tried to keep it going for a year after the highway went through, but couldn't rent enough rooms. Wasn't worth trying to save.
You got the keys to it?
Keys? Oh, sure.
Is something wrong, Ranger?
Might be, ma'am. Can you take me through the motel, Mr. Carlson?
Anytime. Right now, suit you?
Couldn't be better. Let's go.
I ain't been out here for close on 3 or 4 weeks.
Did you go through the cabins then?
Oh, just take a look. See, kids sometimes fool around. That's why I boarded up the windows. Want to take a look in the office?
Yeah. Go ahead, Mr. Carlson.
Sure. Nothing in here, Ranger.
Nope, there's not.
Anything in particular you're looking for?
Yeah. You have this floor washed lately?
Oh, heck no. Ain't no use paying for something like that.
It's been washed recently.
Huh? But why? How do you know?
Scrubbing wood with hot water always raises the grain, and hot water isn't as good as cold to wash out blood stains.
Blood? Blood?
Reach! Hold it!
What's the matter
Hands
with
away
you?
from the guns, Ranger. Hold you. Sit down. Go on. Come on.
What the devil is this? Who are you fellas?
My guess is a couple of men I want for murder, Mr. Carlson.
Murder?
Just cut the telephone wire. Everything okay?
Yeah, push that guy.
Me? Why? I never carry a gun.
Well, we'll just make sure. Yeah, he's clean.
All right, now strip the Ranger's gun belt.
Wait a minute. You got the drop on me. Maybe I'd have to be a fool to draw. But if you don't want me to be a fool, don't touch these guns. You try and take them off me, and I'll go down using them, and I might get lucky.
All right, Locke. Let him alone. He's too smart to start anything. Go get the panel truck out and start loading our stuff fast.
Well, what about them?
We can lock them in. Fix their car so they can't get out of here for a while after we leave. If they try to come out while we're still here, we'll blast whatever door or window they try to come through. Get that, Ranger?
I get it.
Okay. I'll be outside, Chuck.
So your name's Chuck, huh?
Good as any.
What are you and that other fella doing in my place?
Go ahead, Chuck. Tell him.
Some other time, friend. Now you two listen. Because I ain't going to say this twice.
Try to bust out before you hear us drive off, and you'll get it good. Now, stay put.
Oh, they got us locked in.
Yeah.
Oh, don't go near that window. You heard what he said.
Little crack in the boarding. I'm just taking a look.
What are they doing?
Come here and take a look for yourself.
Oh, I should have watched the place more. I never knew anyone was using it.
Been used plenty. Look what they're taking out.
Furs. All kinds of stuff.
It's beginning to make sense. Closed down motel made a nice storage bin for stolen unsmuggled goods till they could run it to the markets.
Oh, they'll get away. You said there was a murder.
Take it easy, Mr. Carlson. We'll get them.
Oh, they'll be across the border in a half an hour before we could even reach a phone. Maybe you better take a chance
and get shot down in cold blood? No. But we'll get them all right. Know why, Mr. Carlson?
Why?
Because you'll help. I pinned Carlson with a quick headlock and then got one arm up behind him and applied pressure so I could keep him still while I had a free hand. I reached into his jacket and found what I was looking for under his shoulder. Then I pushed him away.
Oh, you crazy? You almost broke my arm.
Shut up, Carlson. Don't you think I saw this gun bulging under your coat? And they deliberately missed it when they frisked you? You played it real smart, almost.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
This gun and the electric bills. You paid them. Paid bills that were being run up in a place that was supposed to be shut down. Seemed kind of funny you never complained to the power company.
So what?
So you got a phone call from your friends out there. They tipped you because they saw me nosing around here earlier, right?
No.
Okay, take a look out there. They're almost finished. In a couple of minutes, they'll be gone. In half an hour, they'll be over the border. How about you? You want to stick back here and face a murder charge?
There's nothing you can prove.
There's plenty we can prove, Carlson. And you're holding the bag. You'll have a tough time explaining those electric bills and them missing your gun.
I didn't kill that man.
Did this Chuck do it?
Yeah, that salesman come in. He saw what was going on. Chuck killed him, then drove him away.
All right. Now listen real careful to me. I'm going to fire this gun of yours. Then you hammer on the door and holler for him. Get it?
What do you want to
do
then?
Just listen. When they come up, tell them you had to kill me. Tell them to open the door. Then, Mr. Carlson, step back and out of the way fast. They'll be gone in a minute. Make up your mind.
All right. Go ahead, I'll do it.
Any funny tricks and you get it first. Now, ready? Pound that door and holler.
Chuck, Lark, give me a fast. Open the door.
Now, when it's open, step back.
What's the matter? Carlson!
Open the door. I had to kill him. He was making a break for it.
You just knocked him out.
Reach! Both of them. Hey, what's the big idea?
Why, you...
We'll come back for him later, Carlson. Meantime, let's you and me get back to town. I got you a deal for this White Elephant Motel. You can trade it for a jail cell.
And now, here is the Wheaties man, Frank Martin.
All right, sound effects man, ring the alarm clock. Yeah, I used to groan, too, when I heard that sound. But one morning I said to myself, now look, Martin, you gotta get up. Why fight it? Think about something pleasant. And right away I thought, Wheaties. That's about the pleasantest thinking a man can do. Why, when you figure you can sit down to a bowl of good, crisp Wheaties and then feel like tackling the world, when you know a bowl of Wheaties and milk and fruit can help you work good because you feel good, why, it almost makes you want to shake hands with your alarm clock. And when you hear it come morning, roll out happy, reach for the big orange and blue box, and see how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11.
Next week, Joel McRae in another authentic reenactment of a case from the files of the Texas Rangers. Joel McRae will soon be seen starring in the Universal International Technicolor production Saddle Tramp. Tonight's cast included Tony Barrett, Paul McVeigh, Lou Krugman, Jeff Corey, Robert Bruce, Byron Kane, and Jeanette Nolan. This story was transcribed and adapted by Russell Hughes. The program was produced and directed by Stacy Keith. And this is Hal Gibney speaking.
And this is the Wheaties man, Frank Martin, inviting you to listen Monday night to Frank Lovejoy in Night Beat on the Wheaties Big Parade. See you then.
Listen tomorrow for the Summer Symphony. Now it's Basin Street time on NBC.
It's National Wheaties Week. Yes, it's National Wheaties Week, and Wheaties present Joel McCrea in Tales of the Texas Rangers. On stage tonight, transcribed from Hollywood, another in the Wheaties Big Parade of exciting half-hour presentations. Tales of the Texas Rangers, starring Joel McCrea as Ranger Pearson. Texas, more than 260,000 square miles. And 50 men who make up the most famous and oldest law enforcement body in North America. From the files of the Texas Rangers come these stories based on fact. Only names, dates, and places are fictitious for obvious reasons. The events themselves are a matter of record. Tonight's case, Fool's Gold.
Shortly after 9 a.m. on the Tuesday after Labor Day, 1946. Two men in a late-model black sedan cruised slowly along the main street of the town of Live Oak in West Texas.
All right. Let's go over it once more.
We've been over it 20 times, Foy. Let's get it done.
I ain't taking a chance on you making any mistakes.
I ain't making mistakes. Think I want to go back to Huntsville again? Haven't done anything but case this bank since I got out of the pen a month ago.
You sure there's no guard?
No, I told you. Town like this. Ain't got but 2 tellers in the cage. Got an alarm system, though.
One of them moves for an alarm, start blasting.
How are we going to hide out afterwards?
You leave that to me. We'll beat our way back to where I've been working. Roundup will be starting tomorrow. And I'll get the old man to take you on until things cool off.
That's good.
Yeah. Ain't nobody gonna suspect a poor working cowpoke. Here we are. You keep me covered while I cash the check.
Yeah. Bet they ain't never cashed a check like that before.
Shut up.
Howdy, gentlemen. What can I do for you?
Cash this.
Sure thing. What? Pass over $5,000.
Come on, and don't move funny or I'll blast you.
Robbers!
They're robbers, you crazy old... Oh! Let's get out of here. We'll drop anybody who gets in the way. Come on, Commons, hurry. Get in.
And they're pouring out of that place back there.
They'll have to roll fast to get us.
Look out. Car coming out of that side street.
Let them look out.
You're going to hit.
Look at that poor child. There's blood all over him. Look at
Bleeding. Gotta get out. Gotta get away.
Hey, driver of the sedan is alive.
He's still alive. Look at that poor little boy.
Your head's cut bad, mister. You better... Get away from me. Quick, get away from me. Look out, he's got a gun.
partner, it's National Wheaties Week. It's celebrating time, and I'll tell you why. There's a whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties flake. Think what that means. There's a whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties flake. Now, doesn't that say vitamins and minerals and energy? Energy worth talking about? Sure, first thing in the morning, Wheaties and milk and fruit. Join me tomorrow. See how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11.
The Texas Highway Patrol threw a guard around the wrecked cars and notified the Texas Rangers of the attempted bank holdup and the fatal crash. Ranger Jace Pearson was assigned to the case.
Howdy, Jace. Glad to see you.
Howdy, Rhodes. Pretty bad. Who got here first?
I did. Was patrolling near Landmar when the call came through.
Which one was the bandit car?
It's a black sedan.
Who was in the coupe?
Man and his kid. They took away. You didn't miss anything by not seeing it, Jace.
Where are the bodies?
The doctor had him taken to the hospital basement.
How about the bank teller?
He's alive, but he's unconscious. Deputy sheriff's with him. One of the stick-up men got killed in the crash, you know.
Yeah. Been able to find the driver?
No, not yet. Cut down that street and into the hills, according to witnesses. Sheriff has the dogs and posse after him.
Who owns the sedan?
Don't know yet, Jace. We're checking on it.
Let's have a look at it.
Okay.
Blood on both sides, steering wheel, too. Means the driver must have been cut on his head or his hand.
Had a gash in his scalp.
Yeah. Hit the windshield on this side. And a couple of hairs stuck to the jagged edge. A dark brown.
Yeah. The druggist got a good look at him. Saw the whole thing from his store. Came out to help and almost got shot.
Is he around?
Yeah, he's right over there. Mr. Reber.
Yeah?
A ranger wants to talk to you. Let him through, will you, boys?
Yes, sir?
You see the man who was driving the sedan?
Yeah, saw him up close.
Call coming in on our car radios. Jace, will you excuse me?
Sure, Rhodes. What do he look like?
6 feet, maybe. Built solid. Boots, jeans, and work shirt. Of course, that could fit 1,000 men, but this one had a couple of gold teeth right in the middle of his mouth.
Gold teeth, huh? Anything else?
Nope, except for a bad cut on his head.
Bad enough to need stitching?
Sure was.
Got a flash on the sedan, Jace. It was stolen during the night or early this morning over in Rankin.
I thought so. We better get over to the hospital. I'll call headquarters and have a lab man sent down to go over the car for fingerprints.
Not easy to lift him from that car. Get pretty smeared with all the blood around.
Yeah. And even if you do get him, you still got to find the man that goes with him.
Here's the body, gentlemen. Lift the sheet if you want.
Anything on him, Doctor?
Nothing at all. Not even a mark that might identify him. Don't want to see the father and the child, do you?
No, that wouldn't help. Rhodes, we can fingerprint this one. Might help us find his pal that way.
Yeah.
You can do me a favor, Doc.
Sure.
The killer who got away cut himself on this glass. Before I send it to Austin, I'd like to get his blood type from it. Can you do it now?
Sure. Come upstairs to the lab in 15 minutes. Have it for you by then.
Thanks.
That blood type will give you something to go on, Jace.
I hope we don't need it. I wish there was some word from the sheriff's posse.
If they had him, I'm afraid we'd have heard by now.
Yeah. I might as well walk over to the sheriff's office while we're waiting for the doc.
We can go through the next room and up the front stairs.
Okay.
That's the kid's mother.
Did you come to see my boy and my husband? Did you know?
No, ma'am. I didn't.
Maybe you ought to go home for a while, ma'am.
Why should I go home? There's nobody there now. He wanted his daddy to be the one to take him to school. He was just being registered. First day.
Take it easy, ma'am.
We were so proud of him. All last night he slept with his little red pencil box in his hand. I just bought it for him Saturday. Never even learned to write his name.
Nothing we can do to help her, Chase.
here. No. Could be my wife and kid, or yours.
Yeah.
Any more on the bank teller?
Deputy reported he's still unconscious. We can look in the room when we get back to the hospital after. Hey, look. It's part of the sheriff's posse.
Hey, you find him?
Who? No. Followed a blood trail cross country, but he made the river and we lost him. No chance of getting him now.
The fingerprint crew from the lab flew in and went to work on the car in the hands of the dead bandit. Highway Patrolman Rhodes waited for the report while I went back to see the doctor at the hospital. You got it yet, Doc?
Uh-huh. Just finished. Blood type's AB.
AB, huh? Don't come across that very often.
No, it's very rare. About 1 in... Oh, excuse me, Ranger.
Go ahead.
Hello? Yeah, I'll be right in. What? VA's here now. I'll tell him. Goodbye. That was the deputy from the bank teller's room. The teller just died.
Unconscious all the way?
Nope, came to for just a second before he passed on.
Did he say anything?
Nothing you don't already know, Ranger. The man who shot him had gold teeth.
It was night before the fingerprint crew found anything. I unloaded my horse Charcoal from the car trailer and was watering and feeding him at a livery stable when Highway Patrolman Rhodes brought over the reports. Come on, boy. Come on.
Well, Chase, we know who the dead one is.
Let's see. John Commons served 4 years Huntsville armed robbery. No family, no known associates since leaving penitentiary.
That's no help for finding the other one.
No, could have known him before he went to prison or after. Anything on the car?
Yeah, here.
Lots of prints, but no clear ones, except a full thumb impression on the cap of the gas tank.
Haven't got anything on that print yet, though. Whoever it is, he has no record in Texas.
He will have. FBI may have something on him. I'm not going to wait around here, though.
I don't like it either. But which way can you go?
Both ways. Car was stolen in Rankin. That's west. I'll head back that way. You take the highway east.
You got a plan?
Something will keep us busy while we're waiting for a report on that thumbprint. Check every doctor along the way and see if any of them have stitched a head wound for a man with gold teeth. For a good part of the night and half the next day, I covered the towns and the back roads between towns, country doctors and emergency hospitals, but none of them had seen the man I was after. Then finally, KTXI in San Angelo came through.
KTXI calling Unit 10. KTXI calling Unit 10.
Unit 10 to KTXI. Go ahead, KTXI.
Have report for Unit 10 on thumbprint found on gas cap of stolen car. Subject known as Robert Tromer. Believed to be in or near Santa Rita. May be working there. Occupation, automobile mechanic.
Unit 10 presently located Regan County, 40 miles from Santa Rita. Will continue investigation. Unit 10, 10-4. It was almost sundown when I reached Santa Rita, but Robert Tromer wasn't hard to locate. The local constable told me where I could find him. A service station about a mile out on the highway. I drove out there.
Howdy, Ranger.
Howdy. Your name, Tromer?
Yeah?
And turn off that water and dry off your hands. Where were you yesterday morning at 9 o'clock?
I was right here working. Why?
You sure you weren't in the Drover's Bank at Live Oak?
Of course I wasn't.
Wasn't, huh? Move over here under the light. All right, now smile.
What?
I said smile. Say you weren't at Live Oak yesterday morning, huh?
You heard me.
Those gold teeth say you were.
Look, Ranger,
The bank teller's dead, Tromer. So is a 5-year-old kid and his father. And your pal Commons.
I don't know what you're talking about, Ranger.
Try remembering, Tromer. You got a cut on your head. Take your hat off and let's have a look at that.
Sure, I'll take my hat off. Well, You're looking, Ranger. You see any cut?
No. No, Tromer, I don't see any cut.
So if the guy you're looking for has a cut on his head, Ranger, it ain't me.
Happy National Wheaties Week, everybody. From the Wheaties people, from me, and right now from the man stepping up to our microphone from backstage, the hard-working director of Tales of the Texas Rangers, Mr. Stacy Keach. Well, how's it seem, Stacy?
Gosh, Frank, this doesn't seem like work. Now, imagine getting paid for this. It seems like fun to be able to get up here and talk about Wheaties.
Well, it is fun, you know, and particularly on National Wheaties Week.
It certainly is. And, folks, backstage, we're celebrating just like we hope you are. Nothing dramatic, you know, just Wheaties with milk and fruit first thing in the morning. An all-star cast if I ever saw one. Try Wheaties yourself, so we'll know you're listening. They're great.
Sure are, Stacy. And thanks for talking for us on National Wheaties Week.
I took Tromer with me and drove back to Live Oak. There was no cut on his head, but he fitted everything else. His print matched the one on the gas cap. I stopped at the hospital, and Tromer consented to have his blood type taken.
When the doc gets through testing that, he'll only tell you what I told you before. My blood type is O.
Come in.
You sent for me, Ranger?
Yeah, Mr. Raber. You ever see this man before?
He looks like the fella.
Why, you...
Hold it. Now sit down. Well, Mr. Raber, is he or isn't he?
I've seen him before.
Where? Was he the man who climbed out of that wreck?
Look, mister, maybe you did see me before. I run a gas station 30 miles down the highway. You might have seen me there. But you didn't see me here yesterday.
How about it, Mr. Raber?
Ranger, I'm not sure. After all, fella that got out of the car had a gun in his hand and blood all over his face. All I remember is them gold teeth.
I ain't the only man in the world with gold teeth.
You may be telling the truth, Ranger. You're after a blood type AB. This man's blood is pretty common.
Type O, like he said.
The case against Tromer was falling apart in my hands. I only had one thing left, his fingerprint, tying him with the stolen sedan. I took him over to the local garage. Recognize this car, Tromer? Your thumbprint was right on this tank cap.
So I gassed the car up at the station, maybe. That's how my thumb... Hey, let me see that cap.
Well?
I sold a tank cap like this yesterday morning. Had to pry his old cap off with a chisel. Look, here, you can see the marks. The car wasn't hit on this side.
Keep talking.
Well, this guy came in for gas early, 6 a.m. I was just opening up. His tank cap was the kind that locks, and he didn't have the key. Said he lost his key. Even had to jump the switch to get the car started. Here. See the wires that jumped on this one.
I know that. That's how it was stolen. Didn't you think of that when he didn't have the keys?
Oh, Ranger, it happens all the time. People are always losing keys. I've done it myself. Oh, I should have known there was something fishy about that guy.
Why?
Oh, because he didn't have any money to pay for the gas. Didn't tell me till I'd filled it up, either.
Why'd you let him leave?
He took 10 gallons in the gas cap. Bill came to, $2.93. Left me a hunting knife and a sheath for security, worth maybe $8 or $9.
Did he come back for it?
No, I got it locked in my tool chest back at the station.
Would you know the man if you saw him again?
I think so, but it's just getting daylight, and one customer's face looks like another. But I'd remember him.
He have gold teeth like you?
That's something I can't tell you. He was chewing a cud of tobacco and talking through it.
Come on, I'll drive you back to your station and have a look at that knife.
Jace, saw your car outside.
Hi there, Rhodes.
I checked a lot of doctors on the East Highway. None of them did the kind of stitch job we're looking for.
I may have a lead. Get in your car and tag after me.
Here's the knife, just like he left it.
Fresh honed and clean as a whistle.
No prints on that blade.
Rhodes, take a look at the sheath. Design burned in the leather.
Yeah. They engrave them pretty fancy sometimes.
This isn't an electric engraving job. It's not good enough. Owner burned this in himself. Probably used a hot wire.
That drawing looks like a buffalo head, Jace. But it isn't.
No. Smaller drawings around it look like trees, like some scene he was burning out while he...
Yeah, Jace, it's something like that you see way off from the highway. State 23, west of Rankin.
That's it, Rhodes. Buffalo Mesa. Let's get up that way and see if we can find a doc who stitched a head cut. It was mid-morning when we reached the area. There were 3 doctors in a 20-mile radius. The first one had nothing for us, but the second one...
Yes, I stitched a head wound like that day before yesterday. Cowpoke, Joe Foy. Fell off his horse. Matter of fact, he was in here this morning, about 3 hours ago, to have the dressing changed.
If you put on a fresh dressing, the one you changed is in that trash container, isn't it, Doc?
Why, yes.
Any blood on it?
Of course. Cut was deep. Hasn't healed yet.
Can you get that dressing out and check it for blood type?
It'll take a few minutes.
I waited a couple of days for this, Doc. I can wait a few more minutes.
Here you are, Ranger. Unusual classification, type AB. That's it, Chase.
Yeah. You know where this Joe Foy works, Doc?
Why, Ben Kinner's place. Left at the crossroads and 6 miles out. Right near Buffalo Mesa.
Thanks, Doc. Come on, Rhodes.
Right.
Oh, Doc.
Yeah.
Foy has a couple of gold teeth, doesn't he?
Gold teeth? Why, no, Ranger. He doesn't have gold teeth.
I'd found one man with gold teeth, and he wasn't the right man. Now I had another one to go after, but he didn't have gold teeth. Rhodes and I drove out to the Kinney Ranch. The only one around was an old woman.
I'm only the cook here. Mr. Kinney and the man who works for him are out on the roundup.
Where does Foy bunk?
Just over there in the barn. There's a small room.
You want to show us?
Come with me.
This his bunk?
Yeah.
Hey, Jace, look. Carved in the edge of the bunk.
Yeah, Buffalo Mesa. It looks just like the one on the sheet. Better have a look through this footlocker.
Likely he'd have his gun with him, isn't it, Chase?
Just making sure. Hey.
What is it? Oh, carton of chewing tobacco. Hey, that fits. Fellow at the service station said our man was chewing when he stopped there.
Yeah, and I've seen this brand of chew before. If my memory isn't lying, there's something else that fits.
You shouldn't tear open Mr. Foy's thing.
I just want to see one of these plugs. Here's the answer, Rhodes.
Yeah, the plugs are wrapped in gold foil.
Yeah. And if I tear off a square of the foil and put it over my front teeth like this, I look like I have gold teeth.
And every witness who saw Foy was throwing us off the trail instead of helping. I wonder how he thought of it.
Probably got the idea on his way to Live Oak when he saw Trummer at the gas station. I'm going to take charcoal out of the trailer and ride out to the range.
And I'll get a horse from the corral and...
Oh, thanks, Rhodes. But you better stick here. If Foy spots me coming, he might make a run for the ranch and grab a car or a pickup truck. You stay here and see that he doesn't get to him.
Looking for something?
You Joe Foy?
No, I'm Kinney, Ranger. Boy in some kind of trouble?
I'd call murder plenty of trouble.
Murder?
Yeah. Where is he?
Down the Royers, rounding up strays. Glad to show you.
All right, let's go. You know where Foy was Monday?
Took the day off to fix his gear up and get ready for the roundup.
You see him during the day?
Nope. Went over to his bunk that night, though, to see why he didn't show for supper. Had a cut on his head. Said he fell. Doc had him patched up.
I know about that.
Hey, there he comes now, around the mesa.
Hey, he spotted us. He's turning back for cover.
Get up, Charcoal! Get up! Yeah, turn behind, here.
Oh, boy.
Ranger, you're hit.
I got to get him.
You hit him, But he's up. He's running for the river.
I got to get him. Come here, Charcoal. Come here, boy.
Left shoulder looks mighty bad, Ranger. You can't chase him like that.
I hit him. Come here, boy. If he can move with a bullet in him, so can I. Get up, Charcoal.
Whoa, boy.
He went into the river here. Got to follow on foot. Watch the banks for tracks in case he came out.
The river winds and bends. Can't see far ahead with the willows hanging over it.
I'll see him when I get to him. I'm going to bring you in, boy.
Next slug will kill you, Ranger.
You better kill me, boy, or you'll never leave another dead kid in the street.
He ain't far ahead, Ranger.
Not as far as he'd like to be.
I can hear him moving.
Yeah.
Stop. Listen. He ain't waiting anymore.
He stepped out of the stream. Or he's waiting in ambush. You better stay behind me, Kenny. I moved forward slow, watching the bank for tracks and watching the willow clumps where he might hide. Not far ahead, several of the willows overhung the stream and dipped clear down to water. Leaves floated downstream from it, and on one of them was a clear red blood spot.
Look out, Ranger!
Come on!
Don't look like he's going to need the electric chair, Ranger.
No. Not anymore.
Whoa. Hey, let me help you. You gotta get to a doctor.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I sort of forgot I was hit. Thinking about what he did to a few other people.
The body of Joseph Foy was definitely identified as that of the killer and hit-and-run driver. A ballistic check showed that his gun was the weapon used in the murder of the bank clerk. Ranger Jace Pearson was taken to the nearest hospital where, after a blood transfusion, he was pronounced out of danger.
Are you with us out there? Are you celebrating? Well, it's National Wheaties Week, you know. And here's our star, Mr. Joel McRae, following up another great performance tonight with a few words meant for you personally. Joel?
I'm enjoying being a Texas Ranger, and I hope you're enjoying it, too. As a matter of fact, I sincerely hope you've enjoyed it enough to go out and buy a box of Wheaties on Monday. If you do, that's the way we'll know. Your purchase of one box of Wheaties. Will you do that? I think you'll like them. Good night.
Thank you, Joel McRae. And how was that for a sporting proposition, folks? If you like our show, there's a way to let us know. Just see your grocer about those Wheaties tomorrow. Remember, there's a whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties flake. And goodness knows how many flakes there are in a box. Yes, there's a whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties flake. And you know the value of whole wheat. Necessary vitamins, minerals, too. And whole wheat energy worth talking about. Go ahead. Have Wheaties to start breakfast tomorrow. Wheaties with milk and the fruit you like. Breakfast of champions? Well, I should say so. Try 'em and see how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11. Come on, it's National Wheaties Week.
Come on, everybody, to the Wheaties party. Eat a lot of Wheaties like the champions do. Dance together, cheek to cheek. This is National Wheaties Week. Eat a lot of Wheaties like the champions do. Wheaties, a breakfast of champions.
Next week, Joel McRae in another authentic reenactment of a case from the files of the Texas Rangers. Joel McCrea will soon be seen in the Universal International Technicolor production Saddle Tramp. Tonight's cast included Tony Barrett, Hy Averback, Paul Frees, Herb Butterfield, Dave Ellis, and Lillian Byatt. This story was transcribed and adapted by Joel Murcock, and the program was produced and directed by Stacy Keach. Hal Gibney speaking.
And this is the Wheaties man, Frank Martin, inviting you to listen on Wednesday night to Brian Donlevy in Dangerous Assignment on the Wheaties Big Parade. See you then.
This is Joel McCrea. A small boy is hungry in Italy tonight. You can feed him, comfort him, make him believe again with a package from CARE. No profit to CARE, just food for hungry kids. $5.50 does it to CARE, New York. CARE, New York, $5.50. Will you do it?
Listen for Dennis Day and Judy Canova returning October 7th on NBC.
Wheaties presents Joel McCrea in Tales of the Texas Rangers. On stage tonight, transcribed from Hollywood, another in the Wheaties Big Parade of exciting half-hour presentations. Tales of the Texas Rangers, starring Joel McCrea as Ranger Pearson. Texas, more than 260,000 square miles. And 50 men who make up the most famous and oldest law enforcement body in North America. Now, from the files of the Texas Rangers come these stories based on fact. Only names, dates, and places are fictitious for obvious reasons. The events themselves are a matter of record. Tonight's case, the broken spur.
Saturday night, June 5th, 1948. The time, 10 p.m. On a small ranch 10 miles south of Cranston, Irwin County, Texas, Milton Thomas was counting a large sum of money, preparatory to locking it up for the night. As he was counting, his dog Rags appeared to be nervous. Thomas tried to quiet him.
Rags, stop that. You're making me count wrong. 50, 100... What in Sam Hill's the matter with you tonight? Now stop it. Quiet, Rags. Down. Who's there?
Casey.
What do you want, Casey?
I want to talk to you.
Seems to me it's awfully nice to be knocking at people's doors. Now, if it's about that
All right, get back in the room.
That gun, what are you trying to do?
Get your dog back or I'll...
Rags.
Get back or you'll get the same thing.
Rags.
Get away from that dog. Give me that money.
No, I won't.
Don't you ask for it?
No, don't take it.
Get up. Let go of my legs.
No.
I said let go.
No.
All right, then.
Tales of the Texas Rangers will continue in just a moment.
If you've got a job to do tomorrow, partner, get your Wheaties. Sure, Breakfast of Champions is for you, just like it's for Ralph Kiner, pride of the Pittsburgh Pirates. You may not play ball for a living, but whatever your job is tomorrow, you can do it better on a better breakfast. And it's a better breakfast you're starting with Wheaties. There's a whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties flake. Yes, whole wheat, good, sound, whole wheat. Plump and ripe and bursting with vitamins and minerals and protein for your vitality, your energy, your working power. So tumble the Wheaties out of the package, pour on the milk, put on the fruit, pick up the spoon, and smile. You're eating good to be feeling good. Breakfast of Champions for people who are going places. Are you ready? Try 'em. See how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11.
At 10:30 the same night, Milton Thomas's house was discovered on fire. The Cranston Fire Department was called.
Next morning, the local sheriff, making a routine investigation, discovered the burnt remains of a broken chair next to Thomas's body. He ordered an autopsy. The results prompted him to call the Texas Rangers. Ranger Jace Pearson was assigned to the case and arrived at the scene of the fire early that afternoon.
Well, howdy, Ranger. I'm Sheriff Taxon.
Howdy. My name's Jace Pearson.
Come on, I'll show you the house. Or what's left of it. All right, folks, step back, please.
Shouldn't have all these people walking around here, Sheriff. Ruin any footprints there might be.
I had my deputy here just a few minutes ago, Pearson. I sent him down to get some coffee. All right, folks, step back away from the house, all of you. Now get back to the fence, please. All burned out except for the walls, but you may find something.
You said when you called you didn't think it was an accident.
I've been sheriff here for 18 years, and I'll stake my reputation it wasn't. It was arson to cover murder.
Based that on the autopsy?
Yep. Coroner couldn't find any traces of carbon granules in the bronchial passages or lungs, and only the normal amount of carbon monoxide in the lungs.
Indicating Milt Thomas wasn't breathing when the fire started.
Right. This was the front door. Burned off the hinges and fell out.
That's funny.
What?
The lock on this door. Special kind. Takes a key on both sides. When the door is shut, you have to have a key to get out of the house as well as in.
Oh, that, yeah. Milt was a funny old galoot. Had them put on both doors. The windows had trick locks, too.
Why?
Well, folks say he kept a lot of money in the house. Maybe just a story.
This lock's still working. Let's look at the back door.
Oh, here's what's left of Milt's old iron safe.
Was it open like that when you found it?
Yep. Empty, too.
This lock's not forced or broken.
Kind of hard to tell much about anything after the roof fell in.
Yeah, it's a mess, all right. Same kind of lock here on the back door. It's working, too.
Meaning whoever started the fire was locked in?
Oh, look here. Whoever it was, here's where he went out. See that window glass outside on the ground? Let's climb out and look. See? The heat didn't break it. It's not crazed. It was knocked out from inside.
And do you think the killer was trapped inside?
Could have been, after he set fire to the place. How about footprints, Sheriff?
Oh, there's thousands of them. Volunteer firemen tramping around all during the fire.
Wait, here's something.
Huh. Looks like a spur rowel.
That's exactly what it is. Broken off a spur. Right below where the window was.
Maybe busted off by a man jumping out the window with his tail feathers on fire?
Maybe.
I don't envy you none, Pearson.
How come?
Well, as a clue, the spur rowel's probably mighty important.
But what, Sheriff?
I was just thinking. There probably ain't over 10 million spurs in the state of Texas with rowels just like the one you got there in your hand.
Well, your figure may be a little high, Sheriff, but I get your point.
Hey, Jack. Yeah, what do you think you're doing, Jack?
What's the matter, Sheriff?
You know darn well what's the matter. I told you to keep back.
I was just looking around.
Well, stop kicking around those ashes. And the rest of you. That's evidence you're tramping on.
We didn't mean no harm.
Now listen, all of you. It's the last time I'm going to tell you. How'd you like it if we thought one of you was the criminal, coming back to the scene of the crime and deliberately trying to destroy evidence? Oh. Okay, then, get back or get off the property altogether.
Books say that's generally not true, Sheriff.
Huh?
About the criminal in the scene of the crime. Happens only once in 1,000 times.
Oh, I know it. I just want to throw a scare into him.
I see. Oh, by the way, who was that fellow you were talking to?
Him? His name's Casey. Jack Casey.
The sheriff and I went over the yard thoroughly, but any footprints the murderer might have left were trampled out by the firemen and the onlookers. Finally, some distance from the house, I found the place I was looking for.
Sheriff? Huh? Come over here. What is it?
Look, here's where he took off from.
Hoofprints. Dug out in an awful hurry, too.
And his horse tethered to this tree. Seems to me any man who had legitimate business at the house would have tied up closer.
Yeah, that's logical.
Well, look here. Horse chewed on the tree. Might be a cribber. We find our man, we'll likely find a horse that chews on his feed bin.
See, these tracks head west toward Snake Creek.
You got a horse, Sheriff?
I can get one.
Good. I'll get mine out of the trailer. We're going to follow those hoof prints. Hold it, Sheriff. Keep your horse off that bank.
Why? What's the matter?
Boot prints. Good, fresh ones.
Oh, I thought for a minute you'd seen a moccasin. This stream's full of cottonmouths.
I'll take my kit and make some plaster molds of these prints. He dismounted here and led his horse across.
Yeah, probably afraid of slipping on those flat, mossy rocks.
Small foot, about size 7 or 8, I'd say. Odd track pattern, too. Not likely he was toting a heavy load. Probably a fat man.
Fat?
Yeah, look at his tracks. Deep, even in the dry places.
I make tracks as deep as those, way over 200, but I ain't exactly fat.
No, you're not fat, Sheriff. But what size boot do you wear?
11 and a half.
You ever see a man your height make a footprint this small?
Come to think of it, I don't suppose I ever did.
Oh, wait a minute. That man who was poking around the ashes back at the house. Casey, was it?
Yeah, Jack Casey. What about him?
He's fat. Sheriff, was he driving a car or riding?
Casey was riding his old paint mare. Say, she's a cribber.
Then I'm going to need a warrant. As soon as I get this mold, I'm heading for town. Sheriff, either the books are wrong, or this Casey is 1 in 1,000.
Operator, this is Jack Casey again. What about that call I've been trying to get through for the last hour and a half? Yeah, Money, Texas, the Delta Sawmill Company. I know it's Sunday, but somebody's bound to be... Who's that?
Oh, Jack! What are you doing with that gun?
Oh, it's you. Operator. Hello, operator. You said you'd call me back every 20 minutes. It was over half hour last time. Well, keep trying.
Jack, who are you trying to call? And what are you doing with your shotgun?
Leave me alone, Martha.
Where you been since noon? You were supposed to meet me at the Tate's for dinner.
I know it, but... Who's that?
Who is it?
Texas Ranger.
What? Jack, what have you done? Put that gun away.
Get in the back room.
You ain't fixing to shoot him, are you?
If I have to.
Jack, don't do it. Please, Jack, don't be...
Hold it, Ranger. Stay where you are.
Put that gun down, Casey.
You're not coming in here.
I got a warrant here says I can. And I am.
Jack, put it down.
Let go of that barrel.
Grab it, Ranger.
Give me that.
You all right, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Shotgun's a nasty thing to carry around cocked. I'll just take this. I want to look around a little. That's your bedroom?
Yeah.
Come on. Paint mare outside yours?
Yes, it is.
Are these your boots?
Mm-hmm.
How'd you break this spur?
Huh? Well, didn't know it was broken.
I'll take these boots along.
You want me to get it, Jack?
No.
Isn't somebody going to answer it?
Yeah, sure. Hello? What? Never mind, cancel it.
You better come along with me, Casey.
What's this all about, Ranger? Where are you taking Jack?
He thinks somebody killed Milt Thomas. To be exact, he thinks I did.
No.
You seem to know some of the answers.
Some of them. Before we go, Ranger, I'd like to ask you one question.
Sure.
What time did this so-called murder take place?
About 10 o'clock last night.
10 o'clock? Well, that's
I'll
when we
handle this, Martha. Suppose I can prove where I was last night.
We're just as anxious to prove a man innocent as guilty, Casey. Do you have any witnesses?
About 300 of them. At 10 o'clock last night, I was sitting in the Cranston High School auditorium watching my niece graduate.
In just a moment, we continue with Tales of the Texas Rangers starring Joel McRae as Ranger Jace Pearson.
If a man rides herd on 100 head of cattle all day, first he needs his Wheaties. Yes, and if a man sits behind a big desk and pushes buttons on his job, first he needs his Wheaties. And listen, Mama, you too. If you keep track of a couple of growing up kids and wash dishes and make beds on your job, first you need your Wheaties. Yup, whatever your job, wherever you work, Wheaties can help. Whether you run a machine or pound a typewriter or play baseball for a living, first you need your Wheaties. Because here is whole wheat with the rich, full-bodied energy of whole wheat. There's a whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties flake. That's why Wheaties give so much. Vitamins, minerals, protein. Wheaties have them, and they're for you. Pour the Wheaties into the cereal bowl, add the milk, add the fruit, and dig right in. Do that at 7, and see how much better you're working when 11 a.m. rolls around. Yes, try them every morning, crisp and tempting, and see if I'm not right. See if a better breakfast with the whole wheat nourishment of Wheaties doesn't make a pleasant difference in your morning's work. See if milk, fruit, Wheaties isn't honest and truly breakfast of champions. See yourself how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11.
Casey stuck to the alibi that he'd been at the graduation the night before, but I already had enough evidence to take him in. While the sheriff was out asking questions around town, I tried to break down Casey's story.
I tell you I was there.
All right, take it easy, Casey. Let's assume for a minute you were. And how do you count for the boot prints made by your boots and found near the scene of the crime?
Lots of people wear boots. Could have been anybody.
I'm afraid not. You see, I made plaster casts of those prints, and the boots, the ones you admitted were yours, matched the prints to the last nail mark.
Well, I've tramped around this part of the country a lot of times. They could have been old prints.
These were fresh prints. Well, what about it?
I don't know.
All right, then. What about the rowel we found just outside Thomas' house? One broken off your Spur.
I don't know anything about that either.
There's no point in withholding information, Casey. You know we'll find out about it sooner or later.
Well, how you doing, Pearson? Casey decided to come clean?
Not yet. What about the niece, Sheriff?
The neighbors say she and her family left on a vacation early this morning.
You know anything about that, Casey?
No. Too bad. Because I've had several interesting chats. Casey, I've just talked to 4 people who were at the graduation exercises last night. 4 people who know you. And not one of them remembers seeing you there. I was at the high school last night, I tell you.
Casey, the sheriff's talked to 4 people who didn't see you. Well, who did?
I don't know. It was dark in the auditorium.
Didn't you speak to anybody?
No. Thing had already started. And... wait a minute. Yeah. I talked to one of the ushers.
What was his name?
Wasn't a him, it was a her. One of the high school girls. She was wearing a long pink dress.
Sheriff, who's the principal of the high school?
Mr. Schott. Warren Schott.
All right, lock Casey up. I'm going to find out who the ushers were, and especially the little girl with the long pink dress.
Why, yes, sir. I remember Mr. Casey being there with Mrs. Casey.
Are you sure, LMA? This is very important.
Well, sure, I'm sure. They came in late and had to wait until the invocation was over. And then he asked for an aisle seat. He said he couldn't climb over people. He's so... well, you know.
Yeah, I know. And he didn't leave at any time during the exercises?
Not until near the end. They left just before the recessional while everybody was standing and singing the class song.
What time was that?
Oh, a few minutes before 11.
All right. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Was I any help, Ranger?
Yes, LMA. You were a big help. I was stuck. It looked like I was going to have to release Casey. And then I remembered something. The phone call that came in while I was out at Casey's place. The one he'd been reluctant to answer. I dropped by the Cranston telephone office.
This is the call you wanted, Ranger.
What was it?
Mr. Jack Casey placed a call to the Delta Sawmill Company in Monee, Texas at 2:22 p.m. today. There was no answer, and when the Monee operator did get through, she called back at 3:40. But Mr. Casey had canceled it.
Do you know who the call was for?
Oh, yes, sir. It was person to person to Mr. Ben Casey.
Ben Casey?
Mr. Jack Casey's son.
Son. Well, do you know him?
I used to.
When?
Well, we went to high school together. Some of my girlfriends and I used to go places with Ben's bunch, but my mother made me stop. She said he wasn't the kind of boy that girls should run around with.
I see.
And he finally left home. Couldn't get along with his stepmother.
Oh, then Mrs. Casey's not his mother.
Oh, no, Ranger. They used to fight. Oh.
Go on. This may be very important.
Well, I heard that she and Ben fought all the time, and then one day after they had a big fight, Ben packed up and left.
Well, when was this?
I reckon it was a couple of years ago. He went down to Monee then and got a job at that sawmill there.
What does this Ben look like?
He's a spitting image of his father, and just as fat, too.
Have you seen him lately?
I saw him at the bus station. His father came and picked him up.
When?
Let's see, day before yesterday. Friday.
There was no doubt now why Jack Casey wasn't talking. He was protecting his own son. I put a call through to Mrs. Casey and met her at the sheriff's office.
I ain't saying this because he ain't my flesh and blood, Ranger, but Ben's bad through and through. I might have knowed he was the one killed Milt Thomas.
Mrs. Casey, tell me about Ben. He came in Friday, didn't he?
Yeah. Come in on the bus and stayed over Saturday. He wanted to borrow money. He's always broke. Gambles.
That's right, Pearson. Picked him up a couple of times for gambling.
Go on, Miss Casey.
Well, like I say, he wanted to borrow $50 from Jack, but Jack didn't have it. He just paid off a note to Milt Thomas, and he was kind of strapped.
Oh, your husband owed Thomas money?
Yes, but it was the last payment. Jack was joking about how Thomas always wanted cash money, didn't trust checks.
Did Ben hear him say this?
He sure did, Sheriff. And then he sucked around all day Saturday until we was getting ready to go to the commencement that night. And just before we left, he said he was going to use Jack's horse to go for a ride.
At night?
Yeah, seems strange to me, too. And then he asked could he borrow a pair of Jack's boots. He was wearing flat-heel shoes.
They wear the same size?
Oh, have, ever since I can remember. Well, anyway, we went on to the graduation, and when we got home, the mare was in the barn, still saddled, all sweaty. Looked like she'd been run almost to death. And Jack's boots were tossed on the floor, and Ben was gone.
All right, Miss Casey. That's all for now, and thanks.
You're welcome.
Come on, Sheriff. We're going on a little trip. Sheriff Taxon and I piled into my car and headed for Monee. As soon as we got out on the highway, I put in a call to my headquarters. Unit 10 to KTXA. Unit 10 to KTXA.
KTXA to Unit 10. Go ahead, Unit 10.
Unit 10 leaving Cranston State Highway 22 en route to Monee. Investigating murder suspect believed in vicinity of Delta Sawmill. Will keep KTXA informed. Unit 10, 10-4.
Okay. KTXA, Austin. KTXA,
Sheriff,
Austin,
you know young Casey by sight, don't you?
I watched him grow up.
Good. If he's gone and we have to comb for him, I don't want to turn up the wrong fat man again.
Oh, you'd know him now, after seeing his father. Except for age, they're the same.
You mean except for age and the fact that the young one's a murderer? When we reached the sawmill, the moon was up. A full moon. There was a light burning through the window of one shack at the edge of the camp. We pulled up there and got out of the car and went in.
Well, howdy, Ranger, Sheriff.
Hi.
We're looking for a man named Casey.
Ben Casey?
Yeah, you're on?
I don't know for sure. Sleeps in a big bunkhouse down the line.
Which bunk?
I'll show you if you like.
Fine. Sheriff, maybe you better take a look through the mess hall. A fat boy like him might be fixing a late snack. If you don't find him, come up and meet me. And if you do find him, Call me before you try and take him.
Right.
Bunkhouse is this way.
No light in the place.
Well, some of the boys was going into town for a moonlight dance. Don't know if Ben went with them or not.
Has he been packing any money that you know of?
Well, yeah, come to think of it, he had quite a bit. Said he hit it lucky in a dice game and that... Well, he did get it in a dice game, didn't he?
If he did, the other fellow never got a chance to roll them.
Oh? Here we are. I'll light this lamp for you. Ben sleeps in that third bunk on the right.
Thanks. I'll wait for him.
All right, I'll get back to my books and just entering a shipment that's being hauled out tonight. That's why you found me working.
Go ahead. But if you see Casey, don't mention I'm here. The foreman went back to his shack, and I ripped Ben Casey's bunk apart. There was nothing in the bunk or the covering. I dragged the footlocker out from underneath and was bending over it when...
All right, Ranger. Up with it, and don't turn around.
They're up.
What are you doing here?
If you're Ben Casey, you know what I'm doing. This is the end of the road, boy.
I'll take that lantern.
I'd be careful with that, Ben. Remember what happened the last time you dropped a lantern?
You're pretty smart, ain't you, mister? But I'm smart, too. Here's a present for you.
The lantern hit the edge of the bunk, and the flaming kerosene splashed over me. I beat the flames out with my hands and dove for the door. He'd rammed something against the outside of it. When I forced it open, I stumbled over a heavy log bench he'd used as a barricade.
Hey, Ranger, what is it?
Casey! You see him, Sheriff?
Well, somebody went off that way, toward the rail siding.
Let's go! We spotted him swinging up the side of a flat car as the train hit the main line and started to roll. We grabbed onto one of the last cars and scrambled to the top and started to work our way forward.
There he is. About 5 cars ahead.
I can't see him. Kerosene scorched my eyes.
He can see us, all right. He's shooting.
Drop flat. We'll crawl up on him. He can't go any farther than the length of the train.
There he goes. He's jumping.
I see him. I'm going after him.
Well, I'm coming with you. He's breaking through the wheel. Pearson, you all right? Where are you?
Get down, Sheriff.
Drop.
Can you see him? No, but he's close. About 10 yards in, not moving. Keep low. We're silhouetted good against this clearing.
What you doing, Pearson?
Taking off my jacket. See if you can find a stick about 5 feet long.
Well, here's a dead branch. This do?
Fine. Give it to me.
What you fixing to do?
I'm going to put this branch through my coat sleeves like this. Here. When I tell you, hold it up.
I get it. Something for him to shoot at, huh?
Right. I'll fire at his gun flash.
All right, Casey. Come on with your hands up. This is your last chance, Casey.
Okay, Sheriff. Lift the coat.
You got him. Come on.
Don't shoot, Ranger. Don't kill me. Oh, please give me a chance.
Like you gave Milt Thomas? It was a short train ride, Casey, but I got a hunch you'll get a longer one soon. Come on.
Ben Casey confessed to the murder of Milt Thomas. On August 2nd, 1948, he entered Huntsville Penitentiary. His sentence, life imprisonment.
Joe McRae, that was a great show tonight. Wheaties and I are proud of you.
Thank you, Frank. I like to please the customers.
Well, now, so do I. Take Wheaties, for instance.
Frank, are you going to say that Wheaties taste good?
Well, yes, I was going to touch on that.
And are you going to say that Wheaties are good for people?
Yes, I was going to say just that.
Anything else?
Well, no, I guess that just about covers it, Joel. Except
telling people to get some.
That's it. How'd you know?
Well, that's easy, Frank. I'm a Wheaties eater myself.
You hear that, folks? You, too, can be a Wheaties eater as early as tomorrow morning. Breakfast of champions, you know. get some.
Next week, Joel McCrea in another authentic reenactment of a case from the files of the Texas Rangers. This story was transcribed and adapted by David Bruce and was produced and directed by Stacy Keach. Hal Gibney speaking.
And this is the Wheaties man, Frank Martin, inviting you to listen Monday night to Frank Lovejoy and Night Beat on the Wheaties Big Parade. See you then.
Tomorrow there's good listening with the Summer Symphony on NBC.
Wheaties presents Joel McCrea in Tales of the Texas Rangers. On stage tonight, transcribed from Hollywood, another in the Wheaties Big Parade of exciting half-hour presentations. Tales of the Texas Rangers, starring Joel McCrea as Ranger Pearson. Texas, more than 260,000 square miles, and 50 men who make up the most famous and oldest law enforcement body in North America. Now, from the files of the Texas Rangers come these stories based on fact. Only names, dates, and places are fictitious for obvious reasons. The events themselves are a matter of record. Case for tonight, Apache Peak.
Shortly after midnight on October 4 last, a late model blue sedan came to a stop at a traffic light on the highway leading southwest out of Wichita Falls, Texas. While the driver waited for the light to change, a figure moved out from the shadows and tapped on the window of the sedan.
Going toward Haskell, mister?
I didn't hear you with the window up.
Said you're going near Haskell.
I don't know. Where is it? I'm headed for El Paso.
That's my direction. How about a ride?
All right. Hop in.
Thanks. Mighty hard getting a ride. There's your light.
Uh-huh. How far is Haskell?
About 80 miles. But I'm going past there up near Apache Peak. Ain't far from El Paso.
Oh, good. Keep me from falling asleep at the wheel. I gotta be in El Paso in the morning. Business appointment.
You from the east?
New York. Guess the accent sticks out, huh?
Reckon so. What kind of business you in?
Salesman. Airplane parts.
You get tired, I can drive a spell.
Hey, that's a thought. As soon as I start to feel sleepy.
Sure. Give you a chance to rest up. Good.
It's almost 4 a.m. Be in Odessa in 20 minutes. You want to take over?
Yeah.
Guess I can stop any place on this highway. Haven't seen another car in an hour. Yeah, I'll slide over. You get out and come around.
No, you get out.
Well, it's just as easy for you. Hey. Hey, what are you doing with that gun?
I need money, mister, and you got it.
Oh, sure. I'll give it to you. I won't report it or anything.
I know you won't, mister.
Oh!
Tales of the Texas Rangers will continue in just a moment.
Tonight, as special guest, Wheaties champion Robert Feller.
Well, by golly, it's always fun to meet a Wheaties champion, especially when he's as nice a guy as Bob Feller of the Cleveland Indians. Hello, Bob.
Hi, Ed. Are you seeing many baseball games these days?
Oh, you bet, Robert. You eating many Wheaties these days?
What a question. Well, I've been eating Wheaties for breakfast almost every morning for pretty close to 20 years.
And still going strong, huh?
Wheaties are mighty tough to get tired of. I guess Wheaties and milk and fruit will still be my favorite breakfast when I'm too old to climb out of the dugout.
Well, that won't be happening for a lot of years yet. Thanks for stopping in, Bob Feller. A real Wheaties champ.
You know, gentlemen of the audience, this man Feller has a wife and youngsters even as you and I. His paycheck depends in part on healthy energy, just as ours does. Get my point? We need 'em too. Wheaties, breakfast of champions. Get yours.
And now, back to our story with Joel McCrea as Ranger Pearson.
The body was discovered at 8:15 on the morning of October 4 when a fence rider from a ranch bordering the highway found it in the brush at the side of the road. He reported the discovery to the nearest sheriff, and the sheriff relayed the report to the Texas Rangers. Ranger Jace Pearson was assigned to the case.
There's the body, Jace, under that sheet.
Where was he found, Sheriff?
Oh, about 11 mile east. Must have been dumped out of a car.
Shot 3 times. 1 through the neck and 2 through the chest. 38 caliber?
Yeah. Coroner got 2 of the slugs.
Any identification on him?
Or a thing, Jace. Whoever done it even stole the clothes off of him. Except in his shirt and shorts and necktie. And a pack of cigarettes from his shirt pocket. It's all there on the table.
Laundry mark on the shirt. That might help. Coroner say how long he's been dead?
Oh, since 4 or 5 o'clock this morning.
These cigarettes, were they on him?
Yeah. Why? They help any?
Maybe a whole lot. Look at this. New York State tax stamp.
Can you make something out of that?
Only the 1 pack of cigarettes wouldn't have lasted him from New York to Texas. Probably bought a carton or 2 to start out on the trip. So his home might be in New York.
I reckon an awful lot of folks buy a carton of smokes in New York, Chase.
Yeah, but it's a place to start checking that laundry mark on the shirt. It'll be a help if we know who this man is. I'll send these things into the lab, and they can send a wire photo of the mark to New York.
The coroner has some pictures of the body.
We'll put them on the wire, too. You got a deputy to get the stuff to my headquarters?
Sure thing. I'll call him.
Good. And we can get out and check the scene.
Had this little piece of road here blocked off so no cars could wipe out anything.
Good.
Yeah, body was found right in here.
Yeah. Dragged in from the road. Back of the heel scraped along there. Clothing caught on the mesquite here.
What you picking off there?
Little fibers of cloth snagged on here. Lab men get through with these and may be able to tell us what kind of duds they came from. Let's take a look at the road.
Fresh set of tire tracks here on the shoulder, James.
Yeah, I noticed them. Impressions deeper here. That's where they stopped. Look at the marks around it. Body was dragged out of the driver's side.
That makes a difference?
Means the dead man must have been driving. So, there's a good chance it was his own car.
I reckon that adds up. But how about the other fella?
Could be the same old story, Sheriff. A hitchhiker.
Man'd have to be a fool to take a hitchhiker through this country at night.
Yeah, a fool. The trouble with fools is most of them are nice people. And they don't rate being killed. I'm going to play a hunch. Make some work for the highway patrol. Captain Stimpson's out on investigation. I may be able to reach him in his car. Unit 10 to Unit 3. Unit 10 to Unit 3.
Unit 3 to Unit 10. Go ahead.
Unit 10 requests all points bulletin alerting highway patrol and ranger units to stop and check all cars carrying New York State plates.
The exhibits you sent over have arrived, Unit 10. You're not just going on that cigarette tax stamp, are you?
No, Captain. Murder scene check indicates victim was driving car he was dumped from. Might have been his own.
Worth trying, I guess.
How soon can we expect report from New York police on laundry mark?
That'll take time, Unit 10. We'll keep you informed. Lab reports on exhibits in a few hours.
We'll keep Unit 3 informed if I move from this location. Unit 10, 10-4. After the 10-4 sign-off, I took the sheriff back to his office. And that's when the hardest part of all hunting began, the waiting. The only thing we knew for certain about the murder car was that it was heading west on the road to Pecos and El Paso. I headed the same way, stopping to ask questions at all the smaller towns, the cafes and service stations, wherever a man on the run might risk stopping. But all the answers were the same.
New York car, you say? No, I don't think so. I only saw one out of state all day from Oklahoma.
Well, thanks anyhow, ma'am.
Sit down, have some coffee and pie, Ranger.
Oh, no thanks. I gotta find a fellow.
No, I'd sure remember it if a New York car stopped here for gas. Ain't seen one in a week.
Well, thanks.
Ranger.
Yeah?
The kid runs the pumps a little while I'm eating. Maybe he saw something. I'll call him out if you want to wait till I catch this fella's windshield.
I'll wait.
Oh, well, gee, I just remembered. The kid didn't sell nothing today.
Well, thanks anyhow.
We've been working on the road all day, senor, but we don't notice nobody.
I guess not. They detour past you 50 yards away.
Only one who might see is Juan. He holds the red flag when a car is coming down there. But he don't even look up. He just hears the car and waves the flag. He's too busy looking in the movie magazine at Betty Gravel.
Well, thanks. By nightfall, I was just outside of Pecos. I pulled into a grove near an auto court, a place I'd stopped before. Let my horse Charcoal get down from the trailer. Barely got him unloaded when another Ranger car pulled in.
That's the case?
Yeah, Kurtz.
Howdy, boy.
Howdy. What are you doing down here?
Got a teletype for you from headquarters. Murdered man's name was Roger Bradley, New York City. Salesman for an airplane parts outfit.
Identification positive?
Yeah, pictures, laundry mark, everything. Police up there traced the laundry mark. Bradley's wife identified the pictures.
Was married, huh?
Yeah, 3 kids. Car you're looking for is a 49 blue sedan. Here's the make and license number.
Highway Patrol hasn't spotted it anyplace.
Nope, but here's a list of all the clothes Bradley was carrying on the trip. Pretty complete description.
Can't understand why nobody's seen that car.
Killer might have gotten out of the state. Had a good start.
I hope that isn't it, Kurtz. 3 kids have to grow up without their father because of a gun-crazy hitchhiker.
I know what you mean.
Let's hope he's still in Texas. If he is, we're going to find him.
In just a moment, we continue with Tales of the Texas Rangers, starring Joel McCrea as Ranger Jace Pearson.
Next time you bounce out of bed in the morning, well, you do bounce, don't you? Well, okay, let's say next time you get out of bed, head for the Wheaties. Sure enough, head for the Wheaties at 7 a.m. and see how they help at 11 a.m. Yes, they can make a difference at 11. And they can make a difference at the breakfast table. It's likely to be a pleasanter place with a bowl full of crisp little old Wheaties next to your spoon and napkin. The reason is, of course, the wholehearted whole wheat taste of Wheaties. You're getting all that sweet-as-a-nut whole wheat flavor in every Wheaties flake. Pour on the milk, put on the fruit, and dig right in to one of the finest openings any morning ever had. And then, see how much finer the morning itself goes when you've started with Breakfast of Champions. That full whole wheat really gives with vitality, you know. There's a whole kernel of wheat in every flake of Wheaties. Now see if you don't notice the difference all morning long. Less of the mid-morning slump, More of the up and at 'em punch. Know what I mean? All right, then. You try it. Tomorrow, next day, for a good breakfast, for a good morning, start with Wheaties. See yourself how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11.
And now, back to Joel McCrea as Ranger Jace Pearson in Tales of the Texas Rangers.
For the next 5 days, Ranger Kurtz and I worked our way west, but we couldn't get a lead. Then on the afternoon of October 10th, 6 days after the killing, we stopped and unloaded our horses at Eagle Flat in Hudspeth County.
Blacksmith's place is open?
Yeah. Horses can drink from his trough.
Hey, look at that poke leaning against the fence there. They sure do get dutied up for Saturday night in Eagle Flat.
Yeah. Kurtz.
What's the matter, Jace?
That suit. No poke ordered that through a mail catalog.
Hey, it looks like one of the suits described on the teletype.
Yeah. Let's find out. Howdy.
Well, howdy, Ranger.
You live around here?
Work the Longbow Ranch up near Tabernacle Mountain.
Mighty nice suit you got there. Kind of fancy.
Yeah, ain't it a dinger? From New York, the label says.
New York, huh?
Where'd you get that suit?
Well, I bought off... Now, wait a minute, Ranger. This ain't stolen, is it?
Yeah. And the man it was stolen from is dead.
Oh, man, I just bought it off when a fella come by the bunkhouse.
When?
Oh, reckon it was about 5 days ago. He drove up with a bunch of stuff.
Drove up? What kind of car?
New sedan, blue.
Notice the license plates on the car?
No.
What do you think, Kurtz?
He's seen our man or he is our man.
Were you on the ranch October 4th?
Well, this is the first time I've been off in it in 2 weeks. I bought the suit, I'm telling you.
Did you buy anything else?
Yeah, this.
Watch your hands.
Well, I'm just going to show you a wallet the fella threw in with the suit.
All right, get it out.
There you are. Paid him $10 for the suit and this.
Identification cards and everything stripped. You take anything out of here?
Well, nothing to take. It's just like I got it, except for my $5 in the money pocket.
Killer took all identification out of these celluloid card holders. Might have left some prints.
Ought to get it to the lab.
Yeah. All right, you better come with us.
Now, look, I didn't do nothing. Where are you taking me?
To the sheriff. You can give us a description of the man who sold you the duds. If your story checks out clean, you got nothing to worry about.
Oh, it's clean.
All right. Let's go. We checked the Pope's story at the Longbow Ranch. He was telling the truth, all right. At least we had a description of the man we were after now. About 20 years old, dark, 5'7", about 140 pounds. Kurtz and I unloaded our horses.
Which way we riding, Jace? Come on, boy.
Head north, into the hills.
Road peters out past this ranch, though. Nothing but a trail. We might have turned back to the highway.
Alarm was out by the time he passed here. If he went back to a main highway, the car would have been spotted. He's ditched it up here someplace. Well, let's ride. Get up there, Charcoal.
Get up there, boy.
Yeah. We rode north from the Longbow Ranch, cutting into the mesquite and cedar that flanked the road. It got thinner and more difficult. And just when I thought we might have come too far, we spotted the car.
Reckon that's it?
Let's see. Smart. Rolled it into a gully and then covered it with dirt and grass.
Nobody'd ever spot it unless they were looking for it.
Let's get back and report it. Unit 10 to KTXP. Unit 10 to KTXP.
KTXP to Unit 10. Go ahead, Unit 10.
Unit 10 located blue sedan registered to Roger Bradley, New York City.
All right, Unit KTXP just got report of fingerprints on celluloid card holders of wallets sent in. One set definitely those of murder victim Roger Bradley. Another set identified as being those of Lenny Tripper. Please repeat, Lenny Tripper.
Lenny Tripper. Any line on him?
Wanted by Army for desertion 3 months ago. Description checks. Last known address, lived with father and mother in cabin near Apache Peak.
Car was found north of Longbow Ranch. Apache Peak's about 10 miles further in. We'll investigate. Unit 10, 10-4. It was sundown when we got started. The country we had to go through is tough enough by daylight. It was after midnight when we sighted Apache Peak, but there was still a light on in the cabin nested down in the foothills.
Whoa, boy. Easy. Keep kind of late hours up here, don't they?
Too late. Better tie the horses to that mesquite. We'll slip up and look in.
Yeah. Come on, boy. Jace. Something moving over there.
See it? Looks like a couple of burros. Let's take a look at them.
You boys up past your bedtime, ain't you?
Feel them. Both in a sweat, all caked up. Been packing, too. Yeah, the hair's matted down where they've been cinched.
Funny time to be working burros.
Yeah. Come on. Let's see the house.
Look through the window. Man-eaten. Not our boy, though. Too old.
Must be Tripper's father. Look, there's the old lady, too. You go around the back way, and I'll go in through the front. Wait till you hear me knock and get in.
Right.
Open up.
Who's there?
Texas Ranger.
What do you want?
Lenny Tripper.
He ain't here.
Mind if I come in and make sure?
Let him in.
Come on. Oh, what?
Just another ranger at the back, Mrs. Tripper. You want to let him in, too?
Go ahead, man. Don't mind if I finish eating, do you?
No, go right ahead. This your regular mealtime?
I eat when I want to.
Nothing out back, Jace.
Where's your boy, Mr. Tripper?
You're the ranger. You find him.
We ain't seen him in a year since he joined the Army.
You haven't seen him in the last 3 months, either. Since he deserted from the Army.
You heard what she said. Get me a smoke, Mo.
If you want to help your boy, you better help us.
All right. I'll help you. He's in Mexico.
Been there more than a month.
Mexico, huh? Thanks. Mind if I have one of those cigarettes, Mr. Tripper?
Yeah, I mind. Reckon you can buy your own?
Well, I just got a hankering for one of those. Can't always get a cigarette like that.
What do you mean, Ranger?
A New York tax stamp on the pack, Tripper. Those cigarettes were stolen from a murdered man 6 days ago.
Murdered man?
Shut up!
What were you doing with those burros outside? They've been packing.
I was bringing some stuff down. Been prospecting up the peak.
Abandoned silver mines up there, Jace.
Is your son hiding out one of those mines, Tripper? Were you packing supplies to him?
I told you what I was doing.
That boy's wanted for murder, and if you're smart, you'll take us to him and tell him to surrender.
Do what they say, Pa. Do what they say.
Shut up!
Leave her alone.
I didn't know about the murder. He just said the Army was after him.
Come on, Kurtz. We better go up after him.
Oh, don't hurt him.
Go ahead, Ranger.
Don't hurt him.
Go after him. He'll kill you, that's what he'll do. He'll kill you.
We had to go up on foot. It was too treacherous for the horses, and trailing over that rocky ground in the darkness slowed us to the crawling speed of an overfed snake. There got to be less earth and more rock, and the burro tracks grew fainter. So we tried to pick them up by moonlight and flashlight.
It could have gone in any direction from here, Jace. Can't pick up a mark.
Seems to level off a bit on that shelf ahead. Might be a narrow trail there.
Hope so. Getting steeper.
Not too steep for burros. Kurtz.
What?
A dwarf oak here. Flash your light. There, that's it. Hold it.
Anything?
Yeah. Branch bent. It's been brushed. Look here, been nibbled a bit, too. Recent. Torn leaves are still fresh.
Well, we're headed right, then. Must have gone straight ahead between those big rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is it, all right. Look at the side of the rock.
Flecks of mica peeled off. Little fiber stuck.
Pack ropes must have scraped it.
Let's keep going. We finally reached the summit where the oaks and cedars fought for whatever slight grip their roots could get on the earth between the rocks. Dawn found us on a high shelf facing a rise that led to the open mouth of an abandoned silver mine.
Trail leads straight enough now.
Yeah.
He's there, Jace.
Yeah, but 20 feet back in. He could pick us off and we'd never even get to see him. Stay down and keep the hole covered.
What are you going to do?
Just call him out.
Tripper! Lenny, Tripper!
He ain't going to answer, Jace.
You can't get out, Tripper.
Stay down, Jace.
Now he's got a rifle as well as that .38 he killed Bradley with.
You gonna come out, Tripper?
Why don't you come in, Ranger?
If we'd only packed a stick of dynamite, he'd come out soon enough or be buried in there.
Maybe the idea of dynamite would be enough. Go over down the shelf and let him see you just once on the way. Not long enough to draw a bead. Maybe we can bluff him.
Why don't you go down and let me...
It's my idea. I'll stay. Go ahead.
Be careful, Jace.
You missed him, Tripper.
I won't miss the next one.
You're not gonna get another shot. He went down to our burrows to get some dynamite. We're gonna seal you in there, Tripper. You better come out.
How do I know you ain't gonna kill me on sight?
I won't if you do what I tell you. Leave your rifle in there and come out with your hands clasped behind your head.
Put your rifle up on a rock where I can see it and it's a deal.
All right, Tripper. Now come out.
He came out of the shaft slowly, first a blur, then into the light with his hands behind his head. I got up and he walked toward me. He wasn't wearing a gun belt, but there was something in the way he moved that made me keep my hands close to my holsters. Then he made a quick sidestep and his hands came from behind his head and I caught the glint of a .38.
I'm all right.
Get him, man.
Gun hand and arm. Put a tourniquet on and we'll take him down.
What's the matter with you, Jace? You look kind of funny.
Just thinking of his folks down there. His mother and even the old man. Just trying to help him because he belongs to them in spite of everything he's done.
Folks are like that.
We got to bring him in and break their hearts.
Yeah. Makes you wonder why he ever wanted to wear a badge.
Until you remember the man he killed and the 3 kids who'll have to grow up without him. That makes you know you couldn't ever want to do anything but wear a badge.
There's a tourniquet. That'll hold him.
All right, Tripper, on your feet. Let's go.
A ballistic check of the .38 that Lenny Tripper carried showed it to be the murder weapon used in the slaying of Roger Bradley. With that and other evidence accumulated by Ranger Pearson and the department, Tripper was convicted and sentenced to death in the electric chair.
Well, Joel, you did a fine job of clearing up that case.
Frank, I've got a little mystery at home. Maybe you can help me.
Well, glad to try, Joel.
Well, it's the case of the disappearing Wheaties. Every once in a while, when I'm all set for a breakfast bowl of Wheaties, my cook says, "Sorry, we're fresh out."
Why, that's no mystery. Wheaties are so good, so crisp, so loaded with natural, sunny, whole wheat flavor, they just don't last long.
Yes, I know, but what can I do?
Well, you can get up early before anyone else gets at the Wheaties, or buy 2 or 3 boxes at a time.
I think you've hit it, Frank. Many thanks.
Good night, and thank you, Joel McCrae.
Next week, Joel McCrae in another authentic reenactment of a case from the files of the Texas Rangers. Joel McCrae will soon be seen in the MGM production Stars and My Crown. Tonight's cast included Tony Barrett, Bill Johnstone, Sam Edwards, Paul Duboff, Byron Kane, and Virginia Great.
And this is the Wheaties man, Frank Martin, inviting you to listen on Monday to Frank Lovejoy and Night Beat on the Wheaties Big Parade. See you then.
Tomorrow, listen for Dorothy Maynard. Now it's Basin Street on NBC.